Hello, with my hey good looking cup. I'm actually having a cup of tea. Good morning. I am having a cup of tea.
Gosh, he's
I
already
know.
regressed on the hot drink front.
I know. I don't often. Honestly, Charlotte was like, "Oh, I shouldn't say her name live. I never do that." Was like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" I was like, "No, I don't." And then I was like, "Yeah, actually, I will today. It's a little bit cold here in England." Good morning to everybody. Welcome to Football Heritage TV. I'm Savva. That's Perchy. And Perchy, good morning to you. My understanding is you're flying to the United of Kingdoms today. Is that correct?
I am flying. I've actually moved my flight because it was going to be in the evening. It's now in the afternoon, which is quite nice.
Oh,
So
nice. What time do you fly back?
Up as 5 my time, so 4:30 your time.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Our time, yeah.
It was meant to be 9:10, so I was like, okay, that's handy.
And that means throughout that period that all of your apps and games that you watch will be in normal time, not 400 minutes behind the normal time. Big up to everyone inside the house. This is a morning chat with Savva, with Perchy today. And this is a chance for us to talk all things Tottenham, all things football. We'll have a look at some of the news stories. Let me just quickly run through those for you today. We'll get to, in a minute, Perchy's going to go through with you a report from Dan Kilpatrick to do with Jean-Claire Todibo. That name is going to be the new Van der Ven stroke tap sober.
Yeah.
You're going to hear that a lot. In other football news, it's come out that Stanis Edimbo Muzambo, the 18-year-old from Ajax, is wanted by 6 to 7 different European clubs. So lots of people thought that it was a banker for Spurs, but there's 6 to 7 different clubs that are looking to take him away from Ajax. The news this morning that Osimhen is close to signing a new contract with Napoli. That will scupper a lot of clubs like them lot down the road that say, well, if we get him, it doesn't look like he is going anywhere, because the Napoli president, De Laurentiis, I believe it's pronounced, or De Laurentiis, has been saying a lot this week. He's been talking a lot. Mickey, no, that's completely wrong. Donny van der Beek has completed a loan move to Eintracht Frankfurt in Germany. Luis Suarez has completed a 1-year deal with Inter Miami to go and play with his mate Lionel Messi.
A shock, isn't it?
Well, yeah, who would have seen that one coming? And also a very good signing for one European club for me at 25 million euros is RB Leipzig have signed Elmas from Napoli for 25 million euros. When we're talking about midfielders and this player is going to be 50 million, 60 million, Elmas at 25 million euros, Perchy, that's a bargain, isn't it? It's a great little signing.
I think, you're right. I think it's everything that me and you spoke about the other day when we were talking about English players. You can snap up bargains all around Europe.
Yeah.
There are bargains out there, like, and the likes of, I think it's Elmas, lad. If I'm right in saying, confirm right, he's North Macedonian.
Yeah, I want to say that. I'll double check. But yes,
Get my football knowledge out there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he is North Macedonian. We're going to check, because I'd be quite happy for Perchy to be wrong, but I do believe that Perchy is right. What we'll say is, before we go on to the Dan Kilpatrick stuff, a plethora, which is one of my favourite words in the world.
By the way.
I don't use enough for YouTube. I don't feel like it's quite relevant, but a plethora of football clubs across Europe in the last 12 hours alone, Perchy, have come out against the Super League. We've had Copenhagen, we've had Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, PSG, Tottenham, Man City, Man United. I've seen them. Sorry?
Arsenal this morning.
Arsenal, Monaco have come out in the last 3 or 4 hours and said that. So there's lots going on in the world. It's the 22nd of December, just when I think everybody's other halves that don't like football say things like, "Oh, is it calming down now?" Nope. Nope.
Well,
it is not.
I think the problem is we'll move on from it, because we spoke a lot about it last night. But what I think is happening now is we're at the stage where clubs are piggybacking. So it's like, the problem is when one does it, it becomes a domino effect, right? Because when they start seeing one do it, then the next team does it, then the team after.
Yes.
If, for example, the only team that did it was insert random football club from any, like, if Valencia, feel sorry for Valencia fans, I'm literally the only club I thought from the media league went, oh, we're not in it, but everyone else stayed in it. They're going to go, we'll change our mind, we'll go back. So it is very much a domino effect. So the second 2 or 3 start doing it, everyone will, and that's how it will be. But the statements, I think, are very vague in the sense, if you read the statements, they are very vague. And it doesn't sit there, they don't sit there and say, we're never going to be involved in this thing. It just says, at the moment, so take it with a pinch of salt is what I'd say, people.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, it is what it is, which is one of my favourite sayings, as everybody knows. Look, there's a lot going on in the world of football. Perchy, talk to us about Jean-Claire Todibo. The news came out 48 hours ago that Spurs are in talks with OGC Nice. Then Ornstein yesterday put a little bit of a kibosh on it of, well, it doesn't look like it will happen this window. And now it looks like there's something a bit more promising for Spurs today.
Yeah, so Dan Kilpatrick has come out with this. Be up Tottenham Tears. They bring out some great stuff. They centralise it all for me. Tottenham have entered talks into OGC Jean-Claire Todibo and are currently thought to be ahead of Man United in the race for the signature, which is interesting in itself. He's prepared to do a deal with Spurs at the right price rather than hold out for Man United's impending takeover. And they're saying that he's not expected to complicate a deal with Spurs for Todibo, provided the London club meet Nice's asking price for the 23-year-old, believed to be north of £35 million. Which
North, I love that.
North is a good question there.
Yeah. North.
But if you can, let's just say, we'll keep it simple. It's going to cost around the similar sort of price that Mickey van der Ven cost, roughly. Around that 45 to 50 million pounds. He's going to cost that sort of price, probably. Spurs have also held discussions with Todibo's representatives and are understood that they have guaranteed him he will be a prominent first-team role alongside Van der Ven and Romero, which at the moment, a lot of talk at the moment was all about, is he going to be that word that I don't like using? Is he going to be a backup? Which I said all along, I think you said it as well, was it's not for me to sit there and say that he should be considered a backup. He's a good centre. It's competition.
I agree. You know my feeling on it, Perchy. I've always been frustrated with the people that can't see past an 11. Look, the biggest, the best clubs, they have loads of players in those positions. You know, and I mean, even when you look at Liverpool, for example, so Liverpool have got for years that centre-back partnership was Virgil van Dijk and Matip, right? Yeah. But they've then brought Konate in, right? Yeah. And right now, Matip's out injured, if I believe, quite long term, and Konate's plan. They've also got Quansah from the youth team, who they're starting to give minutes to. They've got Joe Gomez that can go into centre half as well. And I think that's what you need. You can't have, these are only two. Again, look at Man City. If I said to you, does Pep pick the same two centre-backs for Man City week in, week out? You'd be lying if you said to me yes.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing, and I think that's the key bit, right? I think we need to get strength. We're building at the moment into getting that strength and depth. Now, look, do I think Spurs are going to sign Todibo? Positive. I'll stay positive for this conversation. Yeah, we will. The question is, though, I think this is a real important signing for Tottenham. And this is the real key bit for me, and I'll say this now. Todibo, based on what I've just read there, and listen, we can only take it, as I always say, pinch of salt with all of it, pinch of salt. But from what I've read there, what I've read there is about Spurs' ambition. Are Spurs going to be ambitious enough to go and say to Nice, what's your price tag? Right. They say 50 million euros is our price tag. That's our price tag. that's how we want you to. That's what we want you to pay. Now Tottenham have to make that decision. Are we going to be that team that goes, you know what? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're going to get that done immediately. We've spoken to the player. The player is interested in the project. We're going to get it done. Or are Tottenham going to be the team that go, do you know what? We don't want to pay anything more than £30 million. That's our limit. And then you sit there and drag it out to the end, and then at the end they go, nah, we're not wasting our time with Tottenham. We've spent all January to get it sorted. This is, I think, such a key signing on to know where Tottenham are. Is that a crumpet or a giant crumpet?
No, it's tiger bread with peanut butter that's just been delivered to me. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. So sorry if anyone sees me eating that. Everyone knows I like to eat on stream. But Percy, you are bang on. And I think this is where I think all Spurs fans should be. Like, in the last window, you know, I think people like myself took a bit of heat because I was saying, I don't want a Lloyd Kelly. And people will say things like, oh, but if Ange wants him. And I'm always of the opinion, hang on. You're not telling me that managers that have aspirations to be better and to win things want Lloyd Kelly. No offence to him, Percy. But surely when you've got Van der Ven and Romero, your next port of call isn't Lloyd Kelly. When I see us link with Jean-Claire Todibo, I think to myself, okay, are Spurs serious this time? Are we going to actually go and do what's needed to do to bridge that gap? Now, what I mean is you get two types of football fan. So if I sit here and said to you, we need to bridge the gap to Arsenal, Liverpool and City, right? There will be fans that go, oh, we're only 1 point behind City. I'm not talking about bridging a 1 point gap in the immediate now. I'm talking about bridging the gap to these clubs that win trophies year in, year out, right? I'm talking about bridging the gap to these trophies that challenge year in, year out, right? I'm not talking about one moment in time where we might be level with Man City. A Jean-Claire Todibo, am I saying he's the greatest centre-back in the world? No. Do I think he suits the profile of what Ange is trying to do? Absolutely. But you're right. If Spurs turn around and go, there's 30 million, and Nice go, we want 45, what's the appetite to go, you know what? I'm not saying we have to just bend over, but where's the appetite to go, all right, let's get to 40. Like, let's get to 40. Let's get this guy over the line for the sake of £10 million. Let's get it over the line, get him into the squad. And then, you know what? For all the people like me that don't like Daniel Levy and the way the club has been run, when you do that regularly, if you do that with Todibo, then you do that with I'm just spitballing, you do that with a Santiago Jimenez, right? Then you turn around and go, well, hang on. The chairman has delivered. The chairman has delivered the players. And I'm not talking about right now and expectations of win, win, win now. But then you turn around in the summer and you say to Postecoglou, hang on, look at the players he's getting you. There's no excuse. Go and win something. Go and challenge. And that's where I've wanted Spurs to be for years. You know, so I think it's a great thing that we're linked, but I don't want this to be another tap sober situation. I really don't want it to be another tap sober situation.
I think the key bit here, you know, you mentioned Lloyd Kelly here. Like, I'm one of those that I'm not massively against us signing a Lloyd Kelly, but if he comes in alongside a Todibo, you go, do you know what? I'm not complaining about that, because that is Lloyd Kelly. Well, I don't think he's the greatest centre half, but he does fit the profile and what we're after, right? So if you get squad depth when you bring in a Lloyd Kelly, who's a left-sided player, Todibo's a right-sided player, you look at that and you go, hang on, we're starting to build a nucleus of player profiles that are very, very similar to each other. Some are going to be better than the other. And what you're looking at that there, you're going, do you know what? I like what we're doing here. Because I think when people hear about Lloyd Kelly, go, oh, well, you're already writing him off, blah, 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 blah. You've not even seen enough of him play, blah, blah. Well, no, if he comes in and you go, we're linked with the likes of a Todibo, who I think is a really, really good centre-half, and then we sign Lloyd Kelly because it's the cheaper option or whatever, it's the easier option to do, then people get annoyed. But if you did both, I'm not saying we get both now, by the way, I'm not suggesting that. But you get one now, one in January, one in the summer. You go, do you know what? I see what we're doing here. I like what we're doing here.
Right.
And it's very similar, right?
I'll tell you what, timeline is really, really, really important. I will get some comments in a bit as well, by the way, people. Good morning to absolutely everyone. By the way, just because I haven't asked doesn't mean we shouldn't be getting likes. We've only got a third of the people in this room have pressed the like button. There's 129 people here so far and growing, only 41 likes. And for anyone that didn't know, we are only 5 subscribers, maybe 4 subscribers away now from 12K. Please help us get there before Christmas. That'd be amazing. Timeline is very important, Perchy. I think you've hit the nail on the head. If Spurs went and got Jean-Claude Todibo, then got Lloyd Kelly, I'm going, okay, Lloyd Kelly's your 4th choice centre-half, and it's Todibo, Van der Ven, Romero, Kelly. I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think it's when it's the other way round that we've gone for the cheap option first, the lesser player first. That's where I think, that's typical Tottenham. If that was my 4, with Ash Phillips and Dorrington as 5 and 6, I'm cool with that, because that then means Davis goes, Dyer goes, Tanganga goes, Roden goes, and all of a sudden you're going, this is a nice little nucleus of centre-backs to take us forward. Yeah. Then what you can do is say, we're sorted at centre-half for the foreseeable. Now, you know, Romero could be sold in a year's time. This player could be sold. This player gets injured. But for the moment, you go, right, there you go. We're sorted. We're sorted at the back. Right, where do we need to strengthen now? Right, left wingers. Right, strikers. Right, we need another left back to back up with a doggy. Then you start looking at the squad and going, hang on, we've got 2 players in every position here. So for me, I think that you're absolutely spot on. Go and show the fan base that we actually mean business here. Not that we've gone from here to here and we're satisfied. That we've gone from here to here, then to there, then to there. And then in the summer, who knows? I might be sitting there going, go on, go and win the title then. Go on. Next year, go and win the title. So look, it's good times if we can get deals like that done. Yeah. Hang on, Sean said, had to press pause on the toast to see how well it's buttered, peanut buttered. Would you like to see, Sean? There we go. There we go. I think that's a lovely kind of mix of butter and peanut butter all together.
I love the way I love Sean's analysis of it. It's like he's gone and analysing a football player. The volume, consistency, the area covered. It's like you've actually talked about how what a football player has done. It's like we're linked to the peanut butter on toast.
Sean, I didn't make the toast. You're more than welcome to come around for toast anytime, as long as the other half's in, because my toast would not look that nice. My toast would be a typical way a bloke makes it. You know what I mean? Slapdash, far too much peanut butter. But yes, big up to you, Sean. If you haven't, please go and subscribe to Spurs Talk Show. He's nearly at 100,000 subscribers now, my sources tell me. Big up to you, Sean. Mate, I want to talk about another player that this is now the 3rd window in a row we are linked with this guy. Yeah. Right? Conor Gallagher of Chelsea. Now, this is an enigma of a player. Yeah. I see Spurs fans that go, I'd love Conor Gallagher. I see Spurs fans that say, no, I don't want Conor Gallagher at all. What do you make of Conor Gallagher? And does he fit an Ange Postecoglou style of football? Because sometimes, so I'll caveat this question by saying, sometimes, Perchy, it's not always about, are they the best footballer in the world? Sometimes it's about, do they fit the mould of what the manager wants?
Conor Gallagher, I'll go out on a limb, is the perfect signing for Tottenham in centre midfield. Perfect signing. He fits everything that we need. Yeah, he may not be the most technically gifted player. He may not be that, but I tell you what, he is everything at the moment. Everything we need in a centre midfielder, a squad centre midfielder, not a squad player. Does that make sense? Because I think Conor Gallagher starts for us, but I think he can play all around that midfield 3 that we've got built there. He can play more of an advanced role. He can play a deep role. He can play that box-to-box role. And I actually genuinely think if we get a Conor Gallagher, I'll put my hands up and go, that's what we need at Tottenham. That's exactly what we need at Tottenham. I'll be amazed if they sell him. But the fact is it's not gone away. They gave him the captain's armband for games, and then now we're hearing that he's now linked again to leaving Chelsea. I think here's the question, and I'll throw it back to you. How much does Conor Gallagher cost Tottenham in January?
Right. I can't believe how much talk there is in the chat about peanut butter and toast now. It's it's quite funny.
I love Sean Run saying that is the Pape Matassar of peanut butter on toast. That has made my day for a line.
Mate, this is the David Ginola of peanut butter on toast. Don't you worry about that. I do love our channel at times, Perchy. I do love the range. We've got a range. We're acting range. Look, by the way, people, come on. 5 subscribers to get to 12k. Come on, smash that subscribe button, people.
Yeah, I think I may have some breaking news for you on Conor Gallagher. Do you know what I love? I love when things happen, click of a finger. Mm-hmm. So I'm just reading right now. Oh, okay. That is something's happened because it's just been deleted. The post has just been tweeted. Oh, here we go. It's bad. Tottenham are understood to have a deal in principle in place for Conor Gallagher during the summer, but Chelsea opted not to sell him due to his impressive performances around the end of the window and a lack of viable alternatives in the market. So I don't know in the context if that does that change anything. Does that mean that maybe they're not going to sell him now because they want to keep a hold of him? I'm not sure what that would mean.
I'd ask this, right? Let me remove my Tottenham hat. Let me remove. Like, I've always said that I would like Conor Gallagher. Now, I need to make this really clear because I feel like I'll say I want Conor Gallagher and then people will turn around and make out that I've said he's like the Ballon d'Or winner or something.
Yeah.
I would like Conor Gallagher in our squad. I think for me, he's the perfect upgrade on Skip and Højbjerg, players like that. I think he's the perfect upgrade. Great engine, can cover multiple positions on the pitch, works hard. He's got that bite and that fire in him that Postecoglou loves. And more than anything, it's his engine. He's got a wonderful engine and will get in the box and score goals. But if I take my Spurs hat off, if I'm Chelsea right now, do I want any more upheaval? Do I want any more kind of what's going on kind of thing at my football club? You know, he's been captaining the side. He's been playing week in, week out. I don't know. I'm not saying that all the Chelsea fans will love Gallagher. I'm sure there are plenty of Chelsea fans that say, oh, he's not good enough for us. You can have him. There will be some that go, hang on, no, because he is one of the ones that, whether he's the best player in the team, Perchy, he's consistent from, he's going to go out there and run through brick walls for you in a period where Chelsea aren't the Chelsea that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Right? So will they sell him? Now we move to how much is it going to cost to take a player who's English, right? And I know this is awful, but it is. There is such a thing as English tax, right?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, normally you'd look at a player like Conor Gallagher and go 50 million. No. But when you look at it, if you bring in a player like Conor Gallagher, who you're going to have for 4 to 5 years, spread that cost like the way that peanut butter spread across 5 years, right? And you've got a homegrown player.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the worst deal in the world, but is that the sort of money that Daniel Levy and Tottenham are going to drop? Here's the last thing I'll say. Where I've spoken a lot there. The reason I have is because I'm going to eat my toast while you answer all of this, right? Who are you getting that's homegrown? Because Spurs do have a homegrown issue. Who are you getting that's homegrown better than Conor Gallagher that's available, that's cheaper? I'm just chucking it out there to everyone in the chat to answer that as well.
Yeah, no, I do apologize. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, cool. No, my washing machine is going absolutely berserk, and I wasn't sure you can hear it on screen, on camera, through my microphone. Look, I think Conor Gallagher is that centre midfielder that would, I think, it'll be a brilliant signing. It allows us to offload the likes of Højbjerg in the window straight away. Højbjerg can go to whatever club he wants to go to, and we can get a little. Here's the question: if Conor Gallagher cost us £45 million, maybe more, maybe less, but you could sell Højbjerg for 20. Again, just spitballing. It's offset of 25 million quid to go improve straight away, click of a finger, improve your midfield, adds an extra homegrown player into your team. And the fact is, if Chelsea wanted to sell him in the summer, they might even try and use him to get like the way Chelsea operate. It would normally, I would sit there and go, nah, they're never going to sell Conor Gallagher to Tottenham. They'll, like before, but the way that they sell their sort of academy products, I don't see why he couldn't, because they sell their academy products. Look who they've sold recently. Look who they're going to carry on selling, by the way.
Hang on.
And
I just want to say, sorry. When we say Gallagher is a Levy signing, I think that he's the perfect Ange player.
yeah.
And when you say Levy is obsessed with homegrown players, Darren, I hate to break it to you. You know there are homegrown rules in place.
Yeah, we have to.
And Spurs are terrible with our homegrown quota. So this for me, I'm not quite sure. I feel like this is as much as I don't like Levy, I feel like this is just bashing Levy for bashing Levy's sake.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren.
I think you're right, because I think the homegrown issue, the reason why you can say obsessed with it is because we have got a problem there. Look, we can break it down for you. You need 8 homegrown players. Can you name the 8 at the moment that we've got?
Haven't we got like 3 that aren't we counting Whiteman and Austin as homegrown players?
Forster, Alfie Whiteman, Brandon Austin, 3 goalkeepers.
Right, then you've got
Oliver Skip,
Madison,
Johnson,
Davis.
Ben Davis is homegrown, yeah. Because he counts in the Premier League as homegrown. And the other one is
Ashley Phillips is homegrown.
He's under 21, so doesn't count.
Papa Sarr next season.
Who? Sarr, yes, Sarr, but he's not at the moment. Do you know who the last one is?
Oh, I feel like it's someone really obvious.
It isn't.
We said Skip, right?
Played for about 2 years.
Oh, Ryan Sessegnon.
Ryan Sessegnon's the 8th one.
Right. So basically,
and
if you're going to get rid of Skip, Sessegnon, Austin, Whiteman, Forster, you've got hardly any homegrown footballers at Tottenham Hotspur.
But that's the point, right? And I did this in the summer. Guys, if you remember, I did this in the summer. These 8. How many of those 8 do we keep? Madison, Johnson. After that, we stopped, right? You could put Fraser Forster's extended his contract, cool. But 2 out of 8 that we'd say would keep a hold of. And I think that for me is the real key one, right? Eric Dyer doesn't count as homegrown, Adam. Eric Dyer doesn't count. He's classed as Portuguese for his homegrown thing. He doesn't count as homegrown. I just think at the moment we need strength at the moment, and our homegrown strength really has to happen. Who isn't? I just think at the moment, yeah. Look, we have Madison, Skip, Whiteman. Yeah, we do, but we need 8. You need to register 8 of them. Mapping. That's the thing, right? Listen, I think when we talk about Conor Gallagher, I think people go, is he going to start over these? What we've got to remember is it's not about an 11, right? It's not about an 11. We need a squad. I think guys in chat, I think we have to get out of this notion of if we sell Conor Gallagher, he starts over this person or he doesn't. Yeah. Forget all that. We're going to have injuries, suspensions throughout the season. We could be in Europe next season. So we're going to need squad players. And Conor Gallagher, for me, I'll go out on a limb, is the perfect squad player for Tottenham right now. He improves our midfield, and he just he'll make us a better team. Do I think he's a finished article? No, I think he can go up even more levels. I think he's a good player. Is he what Angepostecoglou wants? Yes.
I've been saying this.
Sign off.
I've been saying this for 5 to 10 years at Tottenham, and I'm always told it's wrong. But I've been saying it for 5 to 10 years, Perchy.
Yeah,
we've got to stop doing this. But where does he start? But who does he start in front of? I hate to tell you, a football squad is 25 players. Next year, if we're in Europe, touchwood, which I think we will be, or we should definitely be in Europe.
Yeah.
You can't have 11 players. right?
Mm.
You can't have 11 players. You've got to, we've seen this year, all the people that say things like, who does he start in front of? Don't complain then when Mickey van der Ven's out injured and we start letting him go.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want players to rival that. We just wanted an 11. You've got to have, look, you've got to have, this is where Man City over the years have been great. And Liverpool have been great. Chelsea of old, Man United of old. The drop-off from one of their first-team players being injured to the next player coming in is minimal, if that at all. So, for example, if you look at Man City last year, it was right. Mahrez is going to play on the right wing today. Mahrez, you come and sit on a bench next week. Go on, Phil Foden, you go out and play there, right? Grealish on the left. Foden on the left. Bernardo Silva can play on the right or the left. Right, Gundogan, you come and sit down today. Right, De Bruyne, you come out today. Bernardo Silva, you go and play an attacking midfield. Right, this is the problem. When we keep talking about a first 11, it makes me wonder if fans actually are interested in winning things, if we are interested in being better, because we keep talking about what the club need to do to have more ambition, what the team need. But as fans, we're still so caught up in an 11. Like, I still feel we need to get to the point where maybe 3 or 4 are guaranteed a game. If you look at the big clubs, 3 or 4 players will play week in, week out. I always use City as the benchmark, right? When fit, I guarantee these 4 players will play. Ederson, Ruben Diaz, 5. Rodri, De Bruyne, Haaland, right? They will play. Everyone else in that team is rotated weekly. Everyone else in that team is rotated weekly. And I never see City fans going, but we need an 11. At Spurs, we seem allergic to want competition for places. I saw it all day yesterday with Tobo. But does he come and sit on a bench? And you're like, why are we not how are we not learning?
That mindset, we need to get out of that mindset. And like people sitting there saying 50 million for a squad player. But I don't, do you know what I always find fascinating? We go, I think at the moment, what we do at the moment, we move swings and roundabouts with it. 1 minute we want the owner to be brave and go and get big plays and stuff. And then the second you go, wow, but 50 million for a squad player, it's not your money. Like, listen, by the way, I'm not going to die on the hill for the likes of a Conor Gallagher, but his mould and presence of what we need at Tottenham is what we need. We need that high energy in midfield. Reminds me very similar to what Papa Sarr can do. Like, I think Papa Sarr's not the finished article, but he works his backside off. It's why he gets in the team.
And fans love him for that.
Because
he's not actually that good, that great. If you watch his game closely, he's not the best on the ball, Papa Sarr. He's young. He'll grow into that, right? But look, by the way, this isn't about Conor Gallagher. This is about, you could put anyone, right? I just feel that we've got to get out of this concept of an 11. We've got to. Like when we were debating last night with Stelman, it was like, if Maddison was fit, if Van der, it's like, sure, I get it, but every football club can say this every year. If someone said, Man City will be sitting there right now going, if De Bruyne was fit all this season, we'd be Sure, of course, but he's not. Tough titties. This is life, Perchy. Life isn't fair, right? So at the end of the day, if we're going to complain when players get injured, we can't then complain who's going to come and sit on a bench. This absolutely, DJ Evo. Liverpool, look at all the changes they made the other night and go and batter someone 5-1. And this is again, it's going to take time, but not every player you sign will be a world-class player. We've got good midfielders. For me, when fit, Bentancur, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison. It's a good 4. For me, what we need to do now is upgrade the other ones behind them, which is Lo Celso, Højbjerg, and Skip. There's the difference. If you start getting if you start getting a nucleus of very good players in behind those, then the sky's the limit. Let's start bigger thinking.
What we need to get to, we need to get to a stage where we've got a squad in our team that the gap is not like this. I think people need to forget that. So we need a midfield three where you sit there and go, well, if everyone's fit, realistically, you don't know which three are going to start. We want to get to that situation. Man City get to that situation. Yeah, I agree with that, Sean. Bang on. That's a window. But do you get what I'm saying here, Sav? We need to get to a stage where we're not sitting there going, well, if fit, Maddison starts. If fit, Bentancur starts. If fit, Basuma starts. If fit, Romero starts. If fit, Van der Ven starts. We should be at a stage where we go, do you know what? We've got Real Madrid on Wednesday night in the Champions League. So what we're going to do, we're going to change it so a couple of players get on the bench and we give more squad depth. I'm talking down the line if we qualify for Champions League and all this lot. All the big teams do it. But then when we talk about wanting to be a big team, about winning the league and all this lot, we don't really talk like a big team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. But by the way, Darren, just because one Chelsea fan in here says this to me, I hate to break it to you, Darren. Chelsea are on the TV each week. I mean, who hasn't watched Chelsea play week in, week out? I've seen Conor Gallagher with my own eyes for years and years and years now. Listen, as I said, is Conor Gallagher the perfect player? No. Does he fit the Angepostecoglou style of football? I absolutely think he does. You know, I think, listen, again, this isn't me saying he's my number one target or anything, Perchy. I think it now sounds like I'm his champion. You know what I mean? Like, come on, get Gallagher. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind. The thing is as well, this statement, again, Pierre, bigger thinking. When we're saying he can't hit the target this season, he's playing for a very underwhelming Chelsea team who, that aren't hitting the target in general. I think if he came to Tottenham, in the style of play that we have, the number of chances that we have, the free-flowing football, the overwhelming numbers of bodies we get forward, it changes. Different managers, different styles. We said the other day, Perchy, sometimes for footballers, it's the right time, the right manager, the right club, the right tactic. Just because I'm not scoring here doesn't mean that I'm not scoring there, right? Yeah. So I try and look beyond comments like that. If I'm brutally honest, I try and look beyond it.
But also, in a sense, we're not also, you wouldn't be signing Conor Gallagher to go and get you 10 to 15 goals. He wouldn't be signed for that reason. He'd be signed in the sense to be the pick up the ball from the back four and drive forward with the ball.
Agreed.
And travel. In a sense, and by the way, before you always have to caveat stuff because when you say stuff on the internet,
I know.
He would be the Moussa Dembele player at Tottenham, where he would pick up the ball from deep, travel with it, and move it. I'm not saying he's the same player, better or worse than him, but that would be what he would be that player for.
Look, I think at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, there's other players I would like. I've always said I'd like Matt O'Reilly of Celtic. I think he's a very good midfielder. He's a very good midfielder, and I believe that he would fill the homegrown quota as well. I would like Matt O'Reilly. I've said that a number of times. I'd love Zubamendi. I'd love Mikel Merino. There are plenty of midfielders that I like. The only reason we're talking about Conor Gallagher is because we are linked with him again. I've not seen us linked with O'Reilly. I would love us.
He signed a new contract a few months ago. So it would be. But
you'd like now. But you'd like to think you could go. No offense. You'd like to think we could go to Celtic and take a player who's got five. I don't know how many years he's got left on his contract.
My point being is it wouldn't be one of those where we go, do you know what? He's got a year and a half left. Here's £20 million.
Sure.
I'm not signing a new deal, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get. See, this is what people don't actually listen. This is why YouTube is becoming harder and harder.
It was coming.
Yeah, no one. Two of these. Come on,
listen. Caveated at the start of the conversation.
Caveated it. Yeah. Oh, it makes you laugh, doesn't it? Listen. Purely, I'm not sitting there saying I want Conor Gallagher first choice. All I'm saying is, if Spurs signed him, I would completely understand why. I think what you've got to have as well is. Look, we're all guessing. Assume that all of our midfielders are fit. For me, I would go with Basuma, Bentancur, and Maddison. For me,
Yeah.
I would have, this is just me personally, I would have Bentancur in a kind of Rodri position as a deep lying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, I don't like all this number 6, number 8 chat. I just think midfielders are midfielders, right? I would have Bentancur sitting at the base, give him the ball from the centre backs, let this guy dictate our game, let this guy start all the passing off, let him be the one that at the end of the season when they go, who's had the most passes in the Premier League? It's this guy because he picks up the ball at the base of the diamond, right?
Yeah.
I then want Basuma as the box-to-box. I don't want him camped in front of our back four, wasted.
Yeah.
He's got too much energy. He's good at driving with the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And then I want James Maddison as your creative force. Now, behind that three, I then want Papa Sarr, Conor Gallagher, Decky. Now I've just replaced that entire three with another three. Right? So when we're playing, I don't know, Europa League next year, Conference League, Champions League, whatever we're playing, and you have to rotate a few players, the players that you're bringing in, there's not that drop-off. It's not going from Basuma to Højbjerg. It's not going from Bentancur to Skip. It's actually going to Sarr and Gallagher. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. That's where I would love Spurs to be. Same with the wide men. I want two top wide men on each side so that they can fight each other. They can, they can rotate. I'm just so with it that Spurs need to get with the other clubs. I think we're so far behind in our thinking. I'm not saying Ange's, by the way. I'm talking about fans. I think we're so far behind with our thinking. And I always use this analogy, right, Percy? Or sorry, this example. And big up to everyone in the chat, by the way. Some really good conversation going on in the chat. Yeah. Please keep smashing the like button. We're at 72 likes. We should be on 100 easily. There's 185 of you in here. And we are only 4 subscribers away from the 12K. Just 4 of you. Right? I look at this example, Percy. I remember when Spurs were flying high with Pochettino. And everyone was given the example of, but which striker comes in and sits behind Kane? What attacking midfielder can you bring in that's going to wait behind Ali and Eriksen? Which centre-half can you put on the bench that's going to sit on the bench behind Vertonghen and Alderweireld? And I remember at the time saying, cool, if that's what we want to do, we're never going to win anything. Right?
Agreed.
Then what happened is, when we didn't sign players to build up the squad, everyone went, but Poch wasn't backed. Hang on. Half the fan base were talking about, well, who do you sign that sits on a bench? Then the excuse is, well, Poch wasn't backed. Which one? You can't have both.
Of course.
You can't have both. You either have a squad that will compete or you don't, right? We've got to learn our lessons from that.
No, I agree. I think we've got... I've always said this, and I keep saying it, and you've used it, the analogy just then. The drop-off can't be like this at the moment. And that's what it is at the moment. We need it to be like that, where everyone in the team... But let's be fair. You want the drop-off to be like that. Let's be really fair. I mean, that's how you do it. You want every player in our team going, do you know what? If I work hard or if I have a good couple of games, I'm getting in over Kulusevski. I'm getting in over Son. I'm getting in over Romero, over Van der Ven. You get a good enough goalkeeper, I'm getting in over Vicario because I'm working harder. And I think that for me is really where we've got to be. And we've got to get out of this mindset. We can't sign this player because we've got this player. But then the same fans will go, oh, I can't believe that Emerson Royale's playing at centre-half because we've got Romero suspended. We can have it. You know what I mean? We need to be getting players good enough that can all jump in at whatever time possible.
Absolutely. Adam, pundits were saying it were wrong as well because look what happened. What happened with that team is, if you remember, Walker, I think, was the first one that went from that 11.
Walker went.
Yeah, and then it's a drop-off. I think after Walker, you started to see, I think it was Dembele went. Then after Dembele went, I think it was Eriksen or Rose and
Wanyama was in that soon.
Yeah, Wanyama went. Vertonghen and Alderweireld started to get a bit older. So pundits can say it all they want, but they were wrong because if you only have an 11, listen, Adam, I'm cool. If you're happy with that, Adam, if you only want a good 11 and all the players on the bench to be that much of a drop-off, don't ever want to win anything.
And also,
unfortunately,
I think this is the key bit, right? And this is the key bit because when it doesn't go right, I think this is a bit, and I'm not going to go at anyone, but I'm just putting out my point of view here, is when everyone sits there and blames Daniel Levy for not backing insert manager or not taking us to that next level, we have no arguments, right? Because fans sit there going, well, we can't sign these players because we've got Kulusevski, insert this player, right?
Perchy, this.
Yeah.
This. Amir said it for years. We get so attached. Like, for example, people get a favourite player and go, that player can never be dropped. That player can never be rotated.
Yeah.
I don't care, right? I think there's a certain few players I would never rotate. I.e., I think when James Maddison's fit, that guy makes us tick, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, I want to be in a position where someone goes, Romero's not playing today, Tobo is. You go, cool. Right? That's where I think you need to be as a football club. Now, is that going to happen for every position? No. For example, can Man City replace Rodri with another Rodri? No. Why? Because Rodri is one of the best in the world of what he does. There's not many Rodris out there. There's not many Rodris.
You could argue they probably tried to do it in the summer, didn't they? I mean, they tried to get in Declan Rice.
Well,
I mean, they could have had the two best defensive midfielders in the Premier League at the moment. Like, but I do get your point, right? Like, you're not going to go out there and go on heavens and earth to go and buy the best players in every single position. Man City, you could argue, financially have the luxury and the standard to do it. But why I don't get why I think Amir's point was so true. We're so emotionally attached to individual players. And by the way, I heard this all the time, right? I've heard this for a while. And I just think at the moment, what we got to do as fans is go, do you know what? The badge is more important than the name on the badge. I was always brought up that way. The badge is more important than the name on the back. That's why I said, that's why I wasn't massively, however much I loved Harry Kane, I was like, do you know what? It was the right thing for us to, it was the right time for him to go and improve us.
Yeah.
But that improved us to carry on. We can't sit there and go, does anyone look at our 11 right now and go, there's nobody better in it? That we can't get one player better for every position.
Of course.
Even James Maddison can buy a better player than James Maddison. I'm not saying we're going to go and get that player.
Yeah,
because I don't think we're not at that level. But every player is replaceable. Can we get a better player than Heung-min Son? Yeah. Can we get a better player than Kulusevski? Yeah. Bentancur, Basuma, Romero, Van der Ven, etc., etc. Of course we can. We need to be those teams that keeps improving. Let's not get back to the Pochettino, sit still, and then it all crumble on itself, and we have to go. Just constant improvement, one in, one out. Man City are the absolute masters of it. Everyone said, you can't sell Mahrez, he's brilliant. You can't let Gundogan go on a free. Man City do it better than anyone else. They'll do it again when Haaland leaves, because Haaland's not going to sit there forever. He will want to go to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or another elite team. Man City aren't that team going, Man City fans aren't sitting there going, oh, we can't get rid of Haaland. No matter what, we can't do it. No, we will.
Man United dominated Premier League football for a decade by letting Beckham win.
Yeah.
Roy Keane went. Varane went. Van Nistelrooy went. Jaap Stam went.
Yeah.
Vidic went. Patrice Evra went. Irwin went. But this is how you've got to do it. Now, what people will do now, I know it straight away, people will go to the chat, but look at City now, because they're very short-sighted. People won't think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But it's about wanting what's best for the club. I don't really get attached to players. So, like, for example, when Harry Kane was linked with Bayern Munich, and I turned around and said, makes sense, yeah, let him go. And everyone was like, oh, you don't like Harry Kane. Whoa. Listen, I was a Spurs fan before Harry Kane was born, right? Right? I was a Spurs fan before Harry Kane was born, before he made his debut. And you know what? I'm still a Spurs fan now Harry Kane plays for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
These players will come and go. Of course, you love them when they're here. You've got your favourites while they're here and the players you don't like while they're here. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, we will be here after them. Same with owners, Perchy. Same with owners. I was here. You were here before Levy and Enoch. We will be here when Levy and Enoch sell.
Yeah, of course.
That's life. This is why I don't think I get so attached. Like it's like if for example, it's like the people with Son.
Yeah.
If you mention Son's name after a game and say, I didn't think he was that good today. Oh, you hate him. Whoa. I only said I didn't think he played well for 90 minutes. You hate him. You think he's like, whoa, like what? Like, nah, I don't do that.
Is this emotional attachment thing is this been driven because of social media? Because I don't remember back when there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook and all this lot. And you used to just go to games. I never felt there was a massive emotional attachment to players. I wasn't like emotionally attached when we sold Luka Modric, when we lost Bale. Like I just kind of knew it was going to happen. And you just went, it's going to happen. We move on from it. I feel nowadays, because we have so much access to football players, well, we didn't have it a decade and a half ago. Now all of a sudden, it's because we see Sonny posting stuff every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, Sonny's in the house when the club post it on their socials. Sonny's in. Everyone goes on there. Oh my god, I love him. Oh my god, I love. Is that? I think that is set the sort of seed now where we are emotionally attached to him now because we see them all the time. We think that they're our friends and family now.
Mate, absolutely. It's why people like. Let's be honest. If we're a club with standards, right? We are looking at footballers like Richarlison, like Emerson Royal, right? And we are saying, not good enough if we want to be good. Not good.
Yeah.
Let's be really honest. Listen, forget, I've got a soft spot for this player, that, the other. If I'm going to be a cold-hearted football fan that wants to win trophies and wants to be successful over time, I am looking at players like Emerson Royal, players like Højbjerg, players like Skip, players like Richarlison, players like Brian Hill, and I'm sitting there going, not good enough for this club. But you know what? Emerson Royale's brilliant with his Instagram account. Yeah? The pigeon. Yeah? Oh, everyone's like, oh, like the pigeon. I don't care about all that. I don't care that you've got 400 million subscribers. I don't care that, oh, but look how funny he is. Look at the videos. I don't care. I look at Emerson Royale. Should Emerson Royale be at a club that are talking about rivaling Man City and Liverpool and Arsenal?
No.
Right. There you go. There you go. So I don't care if, by the way, Emerson Royale's probably a lovely guy, right? This is not personal, Perchy. This is not personal. Yeah, I'm sure he's a lovely guy. Emerson Royal is not a good footballer. Let's call it for what it is. Emerson Royal is not a good footballer. If he played for Arsenal, for Chelsea, for Man U, for City, we'd all be going, oh my God, that guy is dreadful. Because he plays for us, we go, oh, we got a soft spot. Then what happens? And not just Royale, as I said, Royale, Richarlison, Skip, Højbjerg, Davis, Dyer. People go, oh, you got an agenda against that player. Perchy, let me ask you a question. I'll ask everyone in the chat and then I'll go to some super chats. Why on earth would I want to have an agenda against any player that represents Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah, I know.
I rate you or I don't rate you, or I think there's probably room for you to grow as a player.
Yeah.
I don't look at a player and go, I'm going to have an agenda against this guy. It makes no sense. It's logically, it makes no sense. Right?
Mate, I agree. But this is the problem, right? But whether we like it or not, and I'll always say it in this sense, but this is why the club get away with it all the time. The club get away with it because they go, well, the club is, everyone's sitting there going, oh, they love Emerson Royale, they love Richarlison, so we don't have to get better because the club will sit back and go, well, if he's doing it, I'm not sitting there like dampening people. People can do whatever they want. I'm living this.
Of course.
You can do whatever you want, but what we can't always have this. Like, I feel like we go from one extreme to the other, and it always seems to swing like this. No one really sits here, and I feel like me and you are one of the two people that sit here a lot, and we see everyone going like this all the time, and we go, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We're winning the league, but then the next minute it's, Emerson Royale's rubbish, or the next minute, we can't get rid of him because he posts pictures with his baby and cool rap videos. It's like, what? It's football.
Yeah,
Like,
listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's get some super chats. Big up to everyone in the chat. We are 3 subscribers away. Come on, you generous people.
Someone just unsubscribed. It's 4 now.
Not on mine. It's 3. We are 3 subscribers away.
Oh, is it 3? Okay.
It is 3 subscribers away. Where's Gallagher is good. Adds to squad depth. I think Tobo should be the focus early in January. Would be good to make a play for Jimenez too. These are certainly the players that we should be looking at. I would argue this. If you signed Tobo, Gallagher and Jimenez in one window and you got in a striker, a central midfielder and a centre-half to strengthen the spine, what a wonderful window that would be. And that's the sort of window where I sit back and say, fair enough, Levy. Do you know what? I've got nothing to complain about. Fair enough. Big up to you, Wes, been a member for 3 months as well. So thank you for your continued support. Video complete, Sofiane. It's all right, by the way, I've seen you post this about 20 times. When you post something, I do see it. I just can't stop the current conversation. Yeah. Would you take Calvin Phillips to replace Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg? I would. I do believe he's going to Juventus on loan from what I've seen. I think he's the next step up from Højbjerg. Homegrown quota as well. I don't know if it would happen. I would have been looking at that as a cheeky loan, if I'm honest. Yeah. I would have said to City, can we have him on loan?
Yeah, I agree. I think Calvin Phillips would be one of those where you get an option to buy and you go, boom, done. Like, you get an option to buy for £30 million. And if he comes in for 6 months, you go, boom, 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 here we go, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Jessica, big up to you, always in the chat. So good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. O'Reilly of Celtic, homegrown, perfect squad player. Boom. Yeah. I would ask anyone that hasn't watched Matt O'Reilly play, please go and watch him play. Yeah, he's a very good footballer. He's a good size for a midfielder as well. He's powerful, he's strong. He scores goals. I think he's Celtic's top goal scorer this season, if I'm not wrong. He scores goals. Yeah, he's a very, very good player. He works hard. He loves a tackle, loves a good pass. And let's be honest, the bonus, he's worked for Ange for a number of years. So he knows Angepostecoglou. Big up to you, Jessica. I don't disagree with a thing you've said there. Andrew Wright, big up to you. I said, what is wild? No one giving Liverpool a chance at home. Are we talking about...
against
Liverpool, Arsenal. Tell you what, I'm going to save this. We'll talk about Liverpool Arsenal game in a minute. So obviously it has a direct bearing on Spurs and the rest of the Premier League. So we'll come back to that. Big up, Chris. Much love, Chris, who reached out to me during my time off, and we've had some good chats. So thank you very much, mate. Said morning, Severin Perchy. So with City's spine in mind, you lose someone from the spine, your first 11 is diminished. What would you consider our best spine is? I think ours writes itself, doesn't it, Perchy? Isn't it Van der Ven, Vicario, Van der Ven Romero, Bentancur, Maddison, Son? At the moment. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it does write itself in that sense down the middle. I think we've got, I think we've definitely got that as your spine. But let's be fair with it. Can that spine improve? Yeah.
Oh, of course it can.
I think that's kind of just a sort of tie into what we were talking about just a moment ago. That spine can improve, and it'll look even better. Yeah. And I think, Chris, I agree with you though. You lose your spine. I always say this, right? You can't lose your spine. You lose your spine, and you sit there going, "Oh, okay, it's not as good, right?" But yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Super chat here from Foggy Foam. Big up to you, Foggy Foam. Hope you are well, my friend. I said to Debo and Gluck, who can play left wing, versatility. Again, another good window. I think if you get Gluck, who can play off the left, who can play through the middle, and you add Todibo at the back, I think again you're solving a lot of problems. And it's signings like this where all of a sudden you start to look at the squad and you look at options. Foggy, I'm a massive advocate of having players that can play multiple positions. Yeah. You won't see me as a pundit always going, oh, he's a good 6, but he can't play 8. I don't like all that. I look at Real Madrid, right? I look at Man City. You look at the Man United teams of old. They had Beckham could play right wing, centre mid, right? Ryan Giggs could play up front, centre mid, left wing. right? Sheringham could drop deep. Sheringham could play up front. Neville could play right back and centre back. Phil Neville could play right back and left back. I think it's really important to fill the squad with versatility. So I completely agree with you, my friend.
Hang on. Oscar Glue is a top player, by the way, as well.
Yeah, very good player, Oscar Glue. I'd love Florian Wirtz. I just feel like he's going to be way too much, and I think every top club in Europe is going to want him.
He's going to be the next one, but he'll be the one that goes to Bayern Munich. Watching next, you can tell.
Absolutely. Mikhail, how you doing, brother? Hope you're well. I said at Football Heritage TV, if we sign Gallagher and Tobo this January, it's going to be an amazing win. I agree. Two solid. Listen, are they world-class footballers? No. Do they come in and fit the bill for exactly what a Postecoglou side looks like? Yes. So I completely agree with you, Mikhail. Thank you so much, brother. And big up to the Big D inside the house, channel member as well. Thank you so much for your support and for the super chat. So big up, lads. I've never been bigged up as much as I have since I started YouTube, by the way. I've always been bigged up.
Yeah.
Big up to you as well, the Big D. So just want to say, keep up the good work. Channels like this, Irish Hotspur, Tottenham Walks, and more really help me get through my working day. I've had a few bad weeks, but stuff like this helps. Big D, on behalf of Dave, on behalf of Sean, on behalf of us, I say thank you for your continued support on all the channels. A few bad weeks. You know what? Something I've seen a lot lately, I'm sure you will see it, is this shall to pass. Right? It will pass. It will get better. Everything gets better. A door shuts, a new door opens. Keep positive. You need anything, reach out to us on Instagram. Behind the football, we're actually quite nice people.
Yeah.
So reach out to us.
Instagram, X, and all that. Like, we're on that. We've got platforms there. If you just want to just chat, what people, do you know what? Savva, someone mentioned, they use the term celebrity, and I went, no, what are you talking about? I'm a football fan like every single one here, and I like just chatting football. But what me and Savva, and I'll talk for you on this basis, we're just normal blokes, right? And if you got anyone really in the chat, guys, if you guys are going through stuff or you just want to chat, reach to us on X, reach to us on Instagram. We'll be there. And listen, we chat about football most of the day, like between us.
Do you know what I would add to that, Big D? I'm not saying you said this at all, and thank you so much for the super chat. Listen, anybody in the chat, I'm a massive advocate for forget football. A massive advocate for mental health. I'm a massive advocate for people not allowing things to build up, not allowing themselves to get to the point where they think about doing silly things, not allowing themselves to get to a depressed state. Talk to people. You've got to talk. The internet, if you live your life on the internet like we do, it can be tough. Like you saw last night, someone comes into the chat, says, Savva's a big girl, Savva's got little dick energy, all of this. These people that say things like that don't understand that people have got things going on in their life. Now, that's cool. People can say that kind of stuff to me because worse things have happened in my life. Right? Other people might not be able to handle that as well. And you've seen lately, I didn't handle it, Perchy, did I? I was messaging you off stream going, I can't take this anymore. I can't believe it. But there are good people in the world as well. And don't always remember, this is football talk. So if anyone needs anything, reach out to us, message us, have a chat, can have a WhatsApp call, whatever, but don't fester in your own dark thoughts, all right? Especially the men. You've got to talk to each other.
Yeah. And also another thing here, like if people think that we've gone too far, reach out to us and have a chat with us. Everything we say on here, guys, everything we say on here is literally football. Nothing's personal, nothing's like that. If you feel like we've gone a bit too far on a player or anything like that, just send us a message. We're very chilled. People forget, like we have such crazy and big debates, right? With the likes of Stell, Will, Has, Iggy, all these lot. Like we love having the football chat. But off stream, people forget we're just chilled out people. But off stream,
it's amazing.
We're like this all the time.
It's amazing, isn't it? You offer your help out to a lot of people and show support, and in that time, 2 people are unsubscribed. That's the internet for you. The internet is that. People don't like nice, right? Anyway, moving on. Talking about someone who's always having a pop at me and lying about me. Big up, Faz. How are you, mate? Thank you so much for the super chat. And hopefully you realised that last night I was letting everybody have their say. Big up to you. Thank you. We appreciate you being in the chat. Let's see if you and I can get on better in 2024. Big up, Faz. Do appreciate that, my friend.
Yeah,
a couple of comments I've just seen. Sorry that I can't get on board with either of them. I mean, Wirtz is okay. Watch him. he's a quality footballer. Is Florian Wirtz. Also, we've got to stop doing this. That just because he's coming from the same country as other players that might not have worked out or whatever, that they're the same. Florian Wirtz is a top footballer, a top footballer. And then this as everything we've talked about for the last hour, Perchy, this sums it up. There you go. I don't think I need to say anything. This sums it up.
Oh,
this sums it up. Custy, I don't know what to say. You've got to change your mindset. Next year, if Spurs play in the Europa League, for example, right? To get to a Europa League final, I believe is 13 to 15 games, right? So let's say it's 13 games, 38 Premier League games, add 13 Europa League games. So that's 51 games, right? Now let's say you play 3 or 4 League Cup games, 3 or 4 FA Cup games. That's 60 games over a season, right? Mm-hmm. Plus all the internationals these players play as well.
Yep.
And you want an 11. You want an 11 that play week in, week out. You don't think in any of those competitions, in any of those European games, that we rotate the players. It's absolutely ludicrous. I only see Spurs fans talking like this.
Yeah, agreed.
It's absolutely mad. Big up. Chris Beresford said on another note, another goal for Artem Dovbyk. Should we be sitting at... Listen, do you know what? This guy scores goals. This guy looks a handful. Right? Yeah, he's the guy that plays up front for Girona.
Right, okay.
So, look, again, it's another one of those. Is it a purple patch? Is he that good? I don't know, but Girona are very impressive. He's been impressive. And the one I would take would be the one Savio, not just because his name sounds like mine, the left-sided winger stroke forward for Girona.
I like the other one, Yan Couto.
Oh, yeah, I'd take him as well. I'd take him as well.
He's obviously on loan from Man City because Man City own half of Girona, and he's a top player. That Yan Couto, top player.
Yeah,
and let's be fair, Girona are absolutely smashing it in La Liga.
Yeah, they're second in the league. I mean, Real Madrid got a last-minute winner last night, even with 10 men. But hey, listen, it's Girona are right up there. Big up to you, Philly, one of our favourites. Big up. Come on, guys and girls. 2 away from 12K. I mean, come on.
Let's do this.
This stream can't end a bit later with 2 away, can it? Percy, let's turn our attention. Sorry, just quickly. Are we watching the World Club Cup final set? What time is the final?
That's 6 o'clock for you. So I'll be on a plane at that time. But
okay, I'll probably watch it.
You're doing a watch along later, aren't you?
For what? I might do Aston Villa versus Sheffield United for watch along. Big up Danny Kiriakou in the chat saying Spurs are not spending 50 million on a player this window. Full stop. Nothing to do with being a so-called bench player. Fans call it. Rangers 30 million-ish. Now, this I agree with. I agree with more. But Danny, this for me is the problem. Not about Gallagher. At some point, the players you need to get in, they're not all going to be around 30 to 35, 40 million, are they? At some point, you're going to have to regularly start paying the 50s and 60s for player.
Yeah, agreed.
But big up to Danny Kiriakou. Happy Christmas, brother. Chuck me a WhatsApp sometime. I've not heard from you since 2005. So, happy Christmas to you. Big up to you.
Big up, DK.
Jay Kismet said, I don't jump on the hype train. I don't think it's a hype train. Florian Wirtz has been very good for years now.
Very
watch him. I don't think it's a hype train at all. I've been watching this lad for a few years. He's a very, very talented footballer. Sometimes they've just got it, Perchy, right?
You got to remember, there's got to be a reason why Bayer Leverkusen are on a hot form. And it's not just him, of course. There's a lot of them around there, but he's part of that team that is absolutely dominating the Bundesliga right now. Absolutely dominating it.
Yeah, he's 20 years of age. I mean, I remember when I first watched him. I first watched him back in 2020 when he was 17. right?
Yeah.
And even in that year, he was getting goals and assists. The year after, at 18, he got 17 goal contributions in 24 games. This year, Perchie, he's got 12 goal contributions in 16 league games. He's 20 years of age and valued at 103 million euros.
Oh, he's a special boy, man. He's a top player.
Very special talent. You think that Germany have got him and Musiala?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a crazy one. Did you not know that who Bayer Leverkusen signed last in the summer, and they got him from Southampton? I think we were linked as well. Nathan Teller.
Yeah, he was on loan at Burnley last year, wasn't he?
He was on loan at Burnley last year.
I
didn't even realise he's there. He's played 8 games for them this season. Scored 1 goal, mind you, but like they've got. You look at their team and like you're hearing the likes of. There's a reason why the likes of Jeremy Frimpong's getting a lot of talk about move at the moment. You look at loads of their players, like they've got Wirtz is a top player. That Palacios I like. He's a good player. And obviously Schick up top. He's a very, very good goalkeeper.
Do you know what? I'm going to bring this up now. This is before they played the other night, right? So what I'm about to read is before they played the other night. Fabrizio Romano put out some stats that I thought were really interesting. I bet I can't find it now. I've said that. What's the date?
Today is the 22nd.
Right, 22nd. Here we go. Was it this? I bet I can't find it. Why can you never find what you need? I'll keep trying to find it. But I saw he put out some stats.
Yeah, they've got
that were absolutely crazy as to all the goals scored by players and the assists from the players as well. I don't know if anyone can find it. It was absolutely mental. Come on, 2 more people for 12K.
Oh, here, I found it.
You found it, yeah?
Bayer Leverkusen win 4-0 and it's 25 games unbeaten. Boniface, 16 goals, 8 assists. Wirtz, 8 goals, 12 assists. Grimaldo, by the way, is a left back, 9 goals, 7 assists. Frimpong, right back, 7 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah, mate, it's madly.
22 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses. 81 goals scored, conceded only 18 in 25. 11 clean sheets, top of the Bundesliga and top of their Europa League group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, just quickly. I mean, look, they've done brilliantly. They haven't lost for 25, winning 22, drawing 3.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. The problem they've got is, will they get raided in the summer, and will the manager stay? But we'll come to that a bit later.
Yeah.
How are you for time? I know you've got a flight. How are you for time?
Oh, my flight's not till the evening. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
We're good for that.
Adam, my understanding to this, people in the chat tell me different. My understanding is that City and Girona won't both be able to play in the Champions League. My understanding is that they won't both be able to play in the Champions League.
That can't be right then. How do Red Bull Salzburg and Red Bull RB Leipzig go into the same?
I don't know. Mate, I could be completely wrong. My understanding is that they can't.
I will do research and I will come back on a later show with this exact thing. I'll do some more homework. See, even you guys don't realise I do homework when I'm working for the.
Absolutely. Let's talk about it, guys and girls. Aston Villa versus Sheffield United tonight, Perchie, which obviously is a game that it does affect Spurs. Because if Aston Villa win that game, Perchie, they are 8 points ahead of Tottenham. Now, yes, we'll have a game in hand, but they will be 8 points ahead of Tottenham and top of the Premier League. Is 8 points too much to overturn? Yes, it could be 5 by tomorrow afternoon. It could be 5 again. But is 8 points too much to overturn for Spurs to Aston Villa? And how surprised are you that Aston Villa are where they are?
Look, break all that down. I think that's a great way to do it. Am I worried? No, because I think. Let's be fair with it. I think Aston Villa are a little further. They're a lot ahead of us in their sort of road, or whatever you want to call it, in their project or whatever buzzword you want to use. I think they're a lot ahead of us in that. So am I surprised? No, not really. Because I don't think, as I said, this season for me is a bit of a free hit in a sense. But I do think we need to keep. They're the team at the moment. We've got to try and claw it back. Oh, I'll do that research. I'll double check it. I'm not believing what someone.
So it says here, Man City and Girona, both owned by City Football Group, are at risk of not being able to play in the Champions League at the same time if both teams qualify for next season's competition under current UEFA rules. Red Bull-owned clubs Salzburg and Leipzig found a way around the legal wording of the rule. Mate, I don't know. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I don't know. It's just another one of those things that makes for interesting conversation.
So I've just done a little bit more digging. So it says basically what will have to happen. I think it will be fine. Man City will have to basically prove that they are not. So in a context of it, it's they are out of sporting, so they've got to go to UEFA and comply with some rules and regulations.
Right. Okay. So it can happen, but they need to go for a few legal hoops.
They just got to basically say to them, we're not going to sit there and basically send them 7 or 8 players to just bulk them up in a sense.
Right. Yeah. So it's all. I don't know. It's all a bit complicated. I'll go back to what we were talking about yesterday. I remember when football was really easy, like all of these rules and who can do what and who can't. Philly has said 8 points equates to 3 games. Villa will lose games. It's Spurs' job. Yeah, but of course we will lose games as well. This is the thing, right? Yeah. We will lose games. That I was looking at Aston Villa. Their game's coming up, Perchy. And they've got Sheffield United tonight that you would say, I mean, this is the team with the best home record in the league, by the way.
Against one of the worst defences in the league.
No, but I'm talking about in general. Listen to these games they've got coming up, right? They've got Sheffield United tonight against bottom Sheffield United, who have conceded 43 goals. Mm-hmm. They then go to Man United, right? They've then got Burnley at home on the 30th, which you would fancy Villa to beat Burnley.
Yeah.
Everton away, Newcastle home, Sheffield United away, Man U at home, Fulham away, Forest at home, Luton away, Spurs at home, West Ham away, Wolves at home, followed by Brentford at home. Football's not played on paper. But there's a lot of winning games there for Villa, especially the home games. And in that period, it looks like they've avoided all the top 4, other than Spurs, depending if we're in the top 4 at that time, until the end of the season. Could Aston Villa get Champions League? Could they go one better?
Can they? Well, yeah. I mean, look at the position. As I said, they could be top by Christmas. They win tonight, they're top at Christmas if Liverpool and Arsenal don't win either that game. Whether or not they're top, I think this season's been blown a bit wide open. I know we talk about guys, we sit there and we go, oh well, this, that, and the other, this is what's happening about Man City is growing, they're not winning loads. Like, I think at the moment we're at a situation where consistency hasn't really happened, and Villa arguably are the most consistent team. They've had the. Oh, here he goes.
Here we go. Here he is.
Here he is.
He was getting annoyed because he's a Fulham fan by his colours. Look at his colours. He's Fulham, he just said that Fulham will easily beat Aston Villa. That's what he said.
Oh well, they've got Raul Jimenez scoring goals. That makes sense. He's a big fan.
Big fat fatty. You a big fat fatty? Good boy. Mate, I think, have they thrown the cat amongst the pigeon, though? And what I mean by that is, at the beginning of the season, how many people, so many wrote off Aston Villa. I remember all summer I was saying, good signing, top manager, good signing. And I was told, they're nowhere near Spurs. You know, every time someone does a Spurs Villa joint 11, no one puts Villa players in it. And you're thinking, well, hang on. How do they keep winning every week then? How are they where they are if they're so bad? But Hardly anyone was saying they'd be in the top 4, Perchy. Tonight, they might not only be in the top 4. 1 second, let me just bring this up. They won't only be in the top 4. If they win tonight, they're 8 points clear of the team in 5th.
Yeah. Mate, I'll be honest.
Mad.
But listen, you know when everyone says to me, Aston Villa can't win it, they're not in the title race. Based on what? How can anyone say that right now? If people want to talk about Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Villa are in that conversation right now, whether we like it or not. And what I will put it out to you, and by the way, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm not saying Aston Villa are going to go and win the league. But this Aston Villa team is better than when Leicester won it.
I agree.
This squad is a lot better.
Do you know what?
And I think people need to remember that, because if Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal aren't as consistent, what are Aston Villa great at the moment, Savva? What are they great at? Winning at home. Winning at home.
But I want to bring this up as a talking point. I'm seeing a few comments. You know me, I like to go to the comments. First of all, Aaron, anything to go against me as always. Right, this low key isn't a talking point. Of course it's a talking point. Of course it is. They're there.
You don't talk today.
Like, you constantly say 3 games in football is a long time. It is. But I've just read out Aston Villa's fixtures. Which 3 games are they not winning in a row? Sorry, not all 3 in a row. Which set of 3 games there are they going without a win?
Yeah.
Come on, Aaron. I know you like to have a go at me, but this is 8 points is a big gap. I'm not saying we can't get more points than them at the end of the season, but I think that everybody's belittled them massively, and I think they're proving people wrong. Now, Perchy, I'll say this for you, right? Here's another one that's another one that's a bit of a lie, right? Where is it? Sorry, I did see somebody put Villa away, not so good. This is their weak point. Right. Okay. When people say things like this, Perchy, are we just saying things, or are we actually doing our homework? Villa's away form, right? Villa's away form is 2 points worse than Liverpool and Arsenal and Man City.
Yep.
Right? 2 points worse than Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City. And we've got the best away form.
Yeah.
Right? Their away form is actually good. Their away form, they went to White Hart Lane. Right, let's have a look at Aston. Here we go. I'll do this again. I love it. When people say these things, Perchy, I've got it, mate. I've got it. Right. Aston Villa's away form. Let's see when they last lost an away game. They lost an away game 50 days ago to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Before that, hang on, they lost an away game at Liverpool in September. They've lost 2 away games in 4 months, but apparently they're not very good away from home. Yeah. They beat Tottenham away, right? Are we getting to the stage, Perchy, where people are clutching at straws massively?
Oh, I think, do you know what it is? Is we're at that archetypal thing, because I think everyone at the moment kind of thinks that, look, Spurs and Aston Villa are going to be those teams there or thereabouts, right? And I think people, do you know what? I know why this is happening. And you guys in the chat, I know what you're like. You're going to say, no, it's because of saying what it is you're scared. Everyone in the chat, if it's the Liverpool fans, the Arsenal fans, the Tottenham fans, the City fans, all of you lot are terrified Aston Villa could do what Leicester did and show all of everyone up and go and win the league. I think this is now, I think Aston Villa are causing a little bit of fear. Because everything that I'm hearing right now, everything I hear right now is what I heard when Leicester won the league. They'll drop off. Even up to April, people go, nah, they're not going to win the league. They're not going to win the league. Even to the end of April. And then people went, they might win the league. And then they won't win the league. And it was like, so I think people at the moment have got kind of history of going, what if they do? Listen, by the way, they could go and lose a couple of games and we go, okay, well, there we go. But
sure. Okay, so I'll ask you, people in the chat, I'll tell you what, Perchy, let me actually bring it up, right? By the way, again, you know we like to caveat things, Perchy. Yeah. I like to caveat and say I don't think Aston Villa are going to I don't think Aston Villa are going to win the league. I've not said that. I don't think they will. But at the moment, you've got to shoehorn them in as one of the favourites for Champions League, right?
Oh, 100%.
I'm looking. Okay, let's have a look at Aston Villa. By the way, right? Hang on, Aston Villa, where's their fixtures? All right. Nope. Why is it? You know when you just want to do one thing and you can't do it? What? Hang on. Oh, my God. Richard, what are you doing? Sorry, 1 second. Teams, Aston Villa. There we go. Fixtures. All right. So here's Aston Villa's fixtures, right?
You sharing it?
Yeah, I'm sharing it right now, mate. Sorry, I was having a bit of a mare there. So here's Aston Villa's fixtures. They're going to win tonight, aren't they? I can't see that they're not going to win tonight. Right?
Oh, yeah, no, they're winning tonight. There's no
right.
Unless something crazy happens, they're winning tonight. Let's be fair.
Now, I don't see any reason why they can't get a point minimum at Man United. But even if they don't,
they'll win at Old Trafford. I'll put it out.
Fair enough.
They'll win at Old Trafford.
Okay, so I was going on the side of caution. So even if they get a draw at Old Trafford, or even if they lose at Old Trafford, they're going to beat Burnley, right, at home.
Yeah.
Right. So we're saying the worst case scenario for Aston Villa in the next 3 games is 6 points minimum.
Yep.
Right. Possibly 7, possibly 9. Right. I'm going to move it on a little bit. Hang on. Let me make that a little bit larger. Sorry, 1 second. Let me make that a little bit. Is that better? A little bit larger.
Good,
right. Okay. So then we go past Burnley. Right. Now you look at these. Forget the cup game. Forget the cup. Actually, let me move the cup game off the screen. No one cares about the cup at the moment. Right. Then you look at these 3 games. It's not inconceivable they can get another 6, 7 points there as well. I'm not saying they won't lose any, but it's not inconceivable.
Yeah,
right.
No, I agree.
So are they favourites? Then and let's go to the next 3. After Sheffield United, right? Man United, Fulham, Forest. Again, look at those fixtures, Percy.
Yeah, I know.
Look at these fixtures. I've just put their next 9 games, right? That takes them to 26 games in the Premier League. I make it from these next games, they're going to get a minimum of 18 to 23 points. That means for Spurs to keep up with just them. I'm not talking about winning. So Spurs to keep up with just them, right? We need to get 18 to 23 points. We need to match what they do or better.
Yeah. Well, I think they're gonna win 6 of those 9. I say they win 6 of the 9, which is 18 points. So I'll say they'll get 20 points in that run.
And then look at the 3 after. Look at the 3 after.
Yeah.
Right. It's like what they've done is in the last month or month and a half, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Spurs, they've beaten Man City, they've beaten Chelsea. They've got big games out the way with wins.
Yeah.
Right. So now they've got the next 12 Premier League games where, other than Tottenham, who at the moment we're not top 4, they don't have a top 5. Sorry, they don't have a top 14 for 12 games.
Do you know what it is, what Villa do? And this is the one thing people need to remember, and this is the scary thing. They don't what Villa do is they don't draw many games. So out of drawing and losing, out of 5 games, which they haven't got maximum points in, they got 2. So they out of their bad run is they got 2 in 15, right? They won 12 out of 17 already, and we're nearly at halfway. We're 2 games away from halfway. I think people need to really. I'll look at the teams above them. Liverpool have lost 1 against Spurs. It was the only game they lost this season. They've drawn 5. So out of 6, they got 5 out of 18. Arsenal, where they've lost 2 or 3. So Arsenal are the team that are equally as consistent as Aston Villa. So if we're going to put Arsenal in the same category, Villa were in the same one. Equally, that's how it works.
And Aston Villa at the moment are top of the form table in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I genuinely, for me, and the reason I talk about this, right, is I've said I think Spurs will get Europa League football. I've said that all year, right? I think we'll get Europa League. However, I've said I don't think it's the end of the world if we only get conference. And I think it's exceptional if we get Champions League.
Yeah.
I think the difficulty being with Champions League now is, I said at the beginning of the season, Arsenal, Liverpool, City for me will be there. They'll be there.
Yeah.
I thought Villa would have a good year. I didn't think they'd be this good. I thought they'd have a good year. I like Emre. I like their squad. Villa are now looking like they're going to be the spanner in the works for Tottenham for the top 4. So that's what I was talking about. Can we keep up? Can we keep up with Aston Villa? That's, I don't know. I just think it's a good talking point. I look at them. What's their weakness, Villa? What are their weaknesses? I think they've got depth in their squad.
Yeah. I think that's the key bit. And look, let's be fair. Their owners are minted. Their owners have got money. They'll be looking at it, and Emery will go, do you know what? We have a chance here. Get me done. And I think we can push on even further. Look at who they're linked with. I think people need to remember that. Look who they're linked with. Jeremy Frimpong. One of the best right backs on form in world football right now. They're linked with players like that at the moment. And I think people really need to go, wow. I think people need to look and go, we said it in the summer, right? And I'm not sitting there trying to take any credit. We said it, wrote them off. And I went, do you know what? They're going to be dangerous. And I agree with you. I thought they were going to be this good. I thought they would be in the conversation with Spurs, fighting it out for the last Champions League spot. I think they might just pip us there now. But unless something happens, Villa at the moment, crazy as it sounds, could do a double this season without. Look, and that's scary, right?
So let me ask you. Look, they'll fancy themselves to be favourites to win the to win the Conference League as well. Look, I think let's look at the other side of it. So Spurs are 5th, and if we look at the clubs below us, you've got Newcastle, Man United, and Brighton. Brighton 27 points, Man U 28, Newcastle 29. We're on 33. Do you see any of those three? Oh, sorry, West Ham are on 27 as well, right? And then there's a cut off to Chelsea. Do you see any of those three catching us?
So like sort of Newcastle, Man United, Brighton, West Ham, right? Look, I think, do you know what? It's a great question. And I've been saying it for a long time, saying it for the last few weeks. What we need to be doing is clinging on to the coattails of the top 4 as long as we can. I still don't. I think if we can keep there till March time, you can go, do you know what? Champions League football is doable. Hang on, I'll take that out for you.
Oh, sorry. I always
forget. That's
right. Well, there it is. So if you look, right, the reason I've cut it off at 9th is 1, because it fits nicely on the screen, and 2, because Chelsea are 5 points further back from that. So Chelsea are 11 points behind us. I'm going to rule them out of finishing above us. If Chelsea finish above us, it will mean that we have collapsed massively. But Newcastle now, no Europe.
Yeah.
Man United, surely, for as bad as they've been, have got no Europe and can only get better with players coming back. Brighton, for me, are a little bit too hit and miss. I think we'll be above them. So from this position, where should we be finishing? Who should we be worried about below us more, Newcastle, Man United, or Brighton? And what would be disaster and what would be best case scenario?
Where should we finish? 5th. I'll be honest. I think where we are right now, I think he's realistic where we should be right now. The gap between us and Newcastle is 4 points. What we want to keep with that is keep that buffer of a game, make it another one. As I said, do what we're doing right now. If we're doing what we're doing right now, clinging onto the coattails of Man City at the moment by being a point behind them, keep us as close to that top 4, because if a couple of the lads above us, teams above us, drop a couple of results, and we can capitalize on it. What you don't want to do is fall into the sort of group of Newcastle, Man United, Brighton, West Ham. You lose a couple of games here and there. They win a couple of games. You start making that gap between us and Man City. I'm saying them now. It's obviously going to change throughout. What you want is to be closer to them than closer to the guys below us, right?
Absolutely. I mean, well, look, let's look at this, Perchy. Let's have a look. Everyone in the chat, let's talk about it. Here's our next three. We'll do what we did for Villa. Here's our next three. By the way, 2 subscribers from 12K. I cannot believe 2.
Come on, guys. Come on. Let's get there. Let's get to
From
12K.
12K. Can we do it by the end of today? Mr. Box Office, if you're watching, I've just seen your WhatsApp. Don't worry, brother. You don't need to apologise for that. I forgot as well. Tottenham, Everton, then Brighton, then Bournemouth. For me, this has to be 6 to 7 points minimum. Minimum 2 home wins and minimum of a draw away. I feel like if we want to be in that Champions League race, this is now where you have to say this has to be 6 or 7 minimum. Is that expecting too much?
No, I'm looking at that going, we could get 9 points there. But I also look at it and go, we could get 3. It's like it's crazy because I don't know what Tottenham turn up. I think I hate to sound, I'm not this person, but I'm going to say it. Bournemouth at home, for me, that's the banker. Out of the 3, that's the banker. I expect
not Everton.
No, Bournemouth.
But why not? Why not Everton? Why is
Everton's form? I expect we should be beating them, but Everton's form at the moment frightens me. I know what you're going to say. Oh, that we've got a better squad than them, but their form at the moment is terrible. And what we're not very good against teams like Everton. All season, Wolves did a number on us by just sitting there going, "Go on, keep doing it." They did an absolute number on us. Can we beat Everton tomorrow? I hope so. I'm going to be there. Of course, I hope so.
I think, right, everybody in the chat, Everton at home tomorrow night. No, that's a complete lie. I have made that up from nowhere. Tomorrow at 3 p.m, a good old-fashioned Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. You can see a watch-along live with this guy, this face, this still slightly tanned face, which is feeding. Tottenham versus Everton tomorrow. I want to know 2 things. 1, what's the score going to be versus Everton? And 2, from this 3 games here, how many points will Spurs get? Because if we're talking about Aston Villa being the benchmark of 4th place, right, chasing Aston Villa, if Aston Villa gets 6 to 7 points from their next 3, and they're already 5 points clear of us, we've got to match them at a minimum to still be 5 points behind. The moment, Perchy, you go 10 points behind Aston Villa, I think you're done. I can't see. I can't see a 4-game swing. So, how many points? Let us know. Now we'll come back to that in a minute, Perchy. But here is after those 3 games. I'm not going to count Burnley in the cup. You've got United away, Everton away, and Brentford at home. How many from those 3, Perchy?
You're going to hate what I'm going to say. Again, it's one of those, we could get 9, but we could also get 3.
No, Perchy. Listen, take your splinters out your arse. This is not fence sitting.
You've got to let me explain what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
We're a better team than Man United. We're a better team than Brentford. And on paper, we're a better team than Everton. But I always caveat and say, I think we'll beat Brentford. Out of the 3, we're beating Brentford. Putting it out there. And the one before, the last 3, we're beating Bournemouth. Man United away is going to be one of those. It's can we get that Man United hoodoo kind of thing off our back? Go to Old Trafford and win, because I don't think it's it's not the Old Trafford of old where you go and go, oh, here we go, we're going to lose here anyway. And Everton away, their home form recently again is brilliant. We've caught Everton in a horrible position. By the way, when we get to this game in February, they could have gone and lost 4 or 5 on the bounce, and we go, do you know what? We should be battering them. They're on awful form. But at the moment, if we're using right now form, Everton are the in team at the moment. They
are. Just quickly, I just want to say,
winning all 3 of those.
Should be. I just want to say, Danny Kiriakou, again, this is the problem. When we say they have not had injury issues yet, this isn't true. This is not true. This is what I was talking with Stella about last night. We have to stop pretending we're the only team that have had injuries. Yeah. Aston Villa have lost Mings for the season, right? Aston Villa have had bad injuries to Matty Cash, bad injuries to Moreno at left back. Jacob Ramsey missed a chunk of the season as well. Zaniolo's missed games. Diaby's missed games injured. This whole they've not had injuries. It's not
Yeah.
true. Buendia, how many games has... I'll tell you what, I'm going to check this out because I feel like we keep talking like we're the only club that have had injuries. Right, here we go. Buendia, right, who's one of their most creative footballers. Buendia hasn't played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Buendia hasn't played for 26 games, right? Isn't that a significant injury? Now, if I look at Tyrone Mings, right? Tyrone Mings has not played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Tyrone Mings and Buendia have missed 49 games between them, Perchy.
Yep.
Right? But we go, they haven't had injuries. Of course they have. These are important players to Aston Villa.
They lost Tyrone Mings for the season, who was one of their main centre-halves before he got injured.
Diego Carlos this season has missed 9 games through injury. Right? So he's missed 9. Buendia, 24. Mings, 25. Right? I just don't understand. Jacob Ramsey missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. Jacob Ramsey's missed 19 games this season through injury.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that point proven a little bit there, Perch?
But that's the key bit for me. I think we have to remember when. Do you know what? Do you know what makes me laugh? I think it's because what we
Two different things, Danny. 2 different things. You said when they have injuries, they've got injuries and had injuries. Right? The fact they built a better squad than us.
That's on us. That's on us, not them. Yeah, you've got to keep
again. Again, sorry, hang on. We can't do this. Tyrone Mings at the back end of the second half of last season, from when Unai Emery joined, they had like the second best defensive record with Mings in the back 4. So this is the thing. It's not about how good you think a player is. Tyrone Mings was their captain and their number 1 centre back. We can't pick and choose, Danny. I feel like you're doing what Stell did. It's like, oh yeah, but these players aren't as good as Van der Ven, Maddison. But to Aston Villa, they are.
Yeah.
To Aston Villa, they are
as well, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think what people do is
this isn't true. Sorry, it just frustrates me. This isn't true. This isn't true. Look how much better they're doing without him. Again, people are typing things, right? People are typing things without going and doing their research. They're making things up. Since Unai Emery joined, Aston Villa have been the second best team in England for the last 14 months. Right?
Yeah.
And Sav, it's not the same. Our injuries affect us more than the injuries that affected them. Again, look, we're making things up. Sorry, Danny. We can't just make things up. Tyrone Mings may be overrated, but the back end of last season, Tyrone Mings and Konza at centre half were fantastic for Aston Villa. Buendia is one of their better players. Marino, a left back. Jacob Ramsey. These are first team footballers that they've missed for over 100 games between them this season. I'll ask the question. Just quickly ask the question, Birchie. Between our players, how many have they missed?
What? How many have we missed?
Right. Van der Ven, Maddison and Bentancur. How many have they missed between them compared to what I've just named for Aston Villa? Van der Ven's missed 6.
7 or 7?
7. Maddison's missed 7.
Bentancur would have missed. Bentancur missed a lot, so I think he's 15. He played 2.
No, I think he's played more than 2, hasn't he?
Or is it 3? Maybe he played 3 then. 3. I think he started 2 then. Then I'll say 4. Then it means that's 14, 15 if you count the cup.
Right. So he's played. So this year he's missed 13 games. So 13 plus Van der Ven's 7 is 20. Plus Maddison's 7 is 27. Right. Basuma's missed a couple of games through suspension, and Romero's missed a couple of games through suspension. Right. Perisic has missed some games. Well, but Again, I come back to the point, Perchy. Everyone gets injuries.
Yeah.
All of
That's
this,
the thing.
wait until they get injuries. I just don't buy it, man. It's just such a cop-out. It's such a cop-out.
But Daniel Harris's two down is the one. This is it. What does it mean is we're the only top team to have not coped with injuries. It's true, though. We haven't. We had that big run of games and we lost. And that's the key point, right? Other teams get results. Listen, I think people miss it. Every team gets injuries. Chelsea get. It's funny, isn't it? Savva, I'll come to you on this one though. But Chelsea get mocked. Oh, they're rubbish. They're crap. They're down the middle. When they had nearly 14 first-team players in, and then people go and laugh at them. Yet then they go, "Well, we've got an injury crisis. Well, we've actually missing 3 or 4 players." Like, and it just we need to. But Savva, this whole thing goes full circle, right? We're now having a thing about, we're missing players for injury. But people at the start of the show were saying, well, we can't sign better players because they can't.
Right.
It goes full circle, right?
Right. But Danny, sorry, mate. Love you to bits, dude. But first of all, again, you are making things up. Firstly, what has Buendia done for Aston Villa? Buendia was absolutely brilliant for them since Emery came in. And last year, Buendia got 14 goal contributions for them in 33 games. So just under 1 in 2. So what has Buendia done for them? Actually done really well, right? And then you're saying he's not even used them bit part player. That's not true. Last season, Buendia played all 38 games for them. So he's not a bit part player. So again, that's not true, right? And when you say the Villa team now are better than last year, since Unai Emery's come in, they're the second best team in the country. That's from November 2022 till now. Sorry, November, October 2022 till now, right? So no, their form, the back end of the last 2/3 of last year, Perchy, was the second best in the league. Again, what I don't feel like we're not using facts. People are going on emotion because it's not Spurs.
Yeah.
We can't just say Chelsea, more injuries than us. Man United, more injuries than us. Newcastle, more injuries than us. Brentford, more injuries than us.
Yeah.
Everyone has injuries. Yeah. So you could turn around right now and say, who could Aston Villa lose right now, which completely derails them? Completely.
I mean, the closest to Watkins, I'd say.
Yeah.
Other
than that, can they not cover for everyone in that team?
Yeah. No, I see it on that one point.
Right.
I mean, but even still, though, I would always suggest, even with Ollie Watkins, the gap's not massively terrible. I think the likes of John Duran, who he's not the greatest player in the world, but he's come in and scored goals for him when he needs to. I'm not saying they're suggesting the drop-off's not like that, right? They've not then got someone on the bench that isn't going to go and score them goals, right? But I think.
Listen. Do you want to know?
Eddie Martin is a fair shout, I would say. I think that's a fair shout.
In their last game, they were missing Buendia, Luca Digne, Douglas Luiz, Tyrone Mings, Traore, and Tielemans. Right. So again, when Spurs have that injury list, we go, "Oh my God!" But injuries. Everyone has injuries. If I go back to when Spurs played Aston Villa, when they beat us, right? When I go back to when Spurs played Aston Villa, they had 7 first-team players missing that day.
Yeah,
we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 8, and they've added Whiteman as part of that. I mean, so listen, I think the key thing here is I'm not saying Aston Villa are world beaters or amazing, right? Yeah. But they are missing players that are very important to them. They have done all season. But because ours happened over the last 3 or 4 or 5 games, by the way, when we're talking about massive injuries to really key players, I only think it's 3 of them at the moment. I only think we're missing 3. Yeah. Bentancur, Maddison, Van der Ven. I don't think any of the others are massive misses.
You know what it is? I think timing has been a really key for this one, mate. The injuries that suffered for Tottenham seem to happen over 2 games. For example, when I say that, I mean, would we be sitting there going, "Oh, we're in an injury crisis"? If I don't know, one player gets injured game 2, one in game 10, one in game 15. Is that kind of my point, right? Is it because we're sitting there because we've seen it happen 2 against Chelsea and then Bentancur against Aston Villa, which were in a 3-game span, right?
Yep.
Are we, because we've got short-termisms and we've gone boom, it's happened boom, boom, boom like that, and we've gone in a crisis?
I think the difference is, Perchy, because of that Chelsea game and everything happened in this tiny little bubble, we think that's more important than the clubs that have dealt with this all season. Now, have these clubs had 2 or 3 of their best players out at the same time? Some of them, yes. Man United have got about... I'll tell you what, if we look at Man United as well. Right, let's look at Man United right now, right? Man United against Liverpool, these are the players Man United had missing at once. And then tell me we've got a bad injury list. They had Diallo, Ericsson, Bruno Fernandes, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Lisandro Martinez, Martial, Jadon Sancho, Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Right? That's why when I look at our injury list, even Liverpool, we've got Thiago Alcantara out, Robertson out, Matip out, McAllister out, Diogo Jota out, Bajcetic out. Thiago, Robertson, Matip, McAllister, Jota, are they first-team players?
Yeah. No,
right.
Exactly.
But this is why all of this, when other teams get injuries, I don't buy it at all, mate. Everyone's got them.
Comment of the day, by the way. Your suspensions have compounded your thoughts that your loss of players is more than others in reality. You may have lost 3 or 4 players via injury. This is the comment of the day. Because at the time when we were getting injuries, the likes of Basuma was getting sent off. Romero was getting sent off. Udogie was getting yellow cards collectively that got him suspended. We have to remember you've got to separate suspensions with injuries. They're 2 different things. We can avoid suspensions. You can't necessarily avoid injuries to a certain extent.
I agree. Sensible data buys. This is a different argument. By the way, I don't think we're carrying 14 Deadwood players. I think that's a bit of a stretch. 14 Deadwood?
No, I would say
Sessegnon, who's not even fit.
Yeah.
Dyer.
Yep.
Skip.
Yep.
Højbjerg, who people love, who some people love. Hill.
Who?
Hill.
Yeah, Hill. That's fair. The rest, you got
right. 14.
I would put the likes of Lo Celso, Richarlison in, but the manager picks them quite regularly when they play, so you can't really put them in there.
Yeah, Danny. Yes,
I think that's the whole point.
Goalposts are moving here. This is what we started by saying. This isn't about injuries. This is about us not having a squad. Yeah, those squads have done better. We said in the summer, Danny, you were one of the people I remember in the chat when I was talking about Villa buying really well and having a good squad. Hardly any of their players would get into our 11. They're not that good. Even I remember a month ago, we were doing a Spurs Villa combined. Everyone was like, that Villa player don't get anywhere near our 11. That Villa player don't get in. That Villa player, you're like, hang on, they could be 8 points clear of us tonight. So they're clearly doing something right. Yeah. Look, we'll go for another 7 minutes. In that time, come on, people, 2 subscribers away. I cannot believe how tight people have been.
So how about this? If we get the subscribers to get to 12K, we'll give away a shirt, right? We said we'd do it yesterday. We'll do it today, but you have to get it by dead on 7 minutes. If we don't go over 12K, we won't do it. There you go. I can't make it easy for you lot.
By the way,
we'll be nicer today.
Absolutely. If you want to set up a hashtag, Perchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Danny, I agree with you, mate. I think that comment from, was it ST, summed it up. Van der Ven, Maddison being injured in the same game was massive. But it wouldn't have looked as bad if Basuma and Romero were both not stupid enough to be suspended, would it? That's the thing. It's kind of compounded that. Like right now, when you look at our squad, who's out that's a top first-team player? Maddison, Bentancur, and Van der Ven. It's bad. It's not good. But on the same hand, if people want to talk about title challenges, people want to talk about being a top club, you've got to cope with that. And equally, when I say things like, oh, I don't really rate the Celso. Oh, no, he's brilliant. Oh, I don't really rate Kulu. Oh, he's brilliant. Oh, I don't really rate Brennan Johnson. He's brilliant. Højbjerg, brilliant. What's the problem then? If all these players are so good, what's the problem if we've got injuries?
Squad, right? I think the key bit, we need a squad.
Yeah, need a squad. Sensible Data said, don't forget Lloris, Emerson, Davis to an extent. That's 11. I mean, mate, you can't count Solomon as Deadwood. I'm sorry, you can't count Solomon as Deadwood. Yeah. Second of all, Tanganga isn't even here. Tanganga's out on loan. We're not carrying him at all, right? Forster, we're not carrying Forster. He's a sub goalkeeper, right? Well, I mean, Davis has been getting rave reviews from playing centre back. Fans love Lo Celso. I mean, when you say we're carrying, Postecoglou said he really likes Emerson and he's part of his plans. So he's not Deadwood. What? We can't have it both ways, right? Can't have it both ways.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the key bit, right? You've got the likes of Lo Celso, Davis, whether or not we think they're good. Emerson, to an extent, Richarlison, can't put Solomon in. The manager signed Solomon.
Sorry, I'm not having this. Solomon cannot be used as Deadwood after we've just signed him. I'm sorry.
Can't. And the same with Fraser Forster. If he was Deadwood, the manager would have extended his contract. Remember, we have to remember, Savva, we have to be genuine, and everyone in the chat's got to be genuine with this. The manager said, I get final approval on every single player. So we can sit there and say the likes of Solomon, Forster, these players that have signed or extended contract, it's because of the manager has got final word. If he didn't want Fraser Forster at all near his team, he wouldn't have extended his contract.
Right. So, do you know what? This is a really key point. I know we've gone on a bit this morning, but I'm having a laugh. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
No one's at work. It's Christmas, so we can keep going. As long as you're all right for time.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good.
Good. Guys and girls, let us know. Do you want us to keep going? Want to end the show? Let us know. We can keep going for a little bit. And we're on 11,999.
One person.
11,999. Perchik, really good talking point, that. Really, really good talking point. The moment Postecoglou came out and said, I have final say on who joins this, now what can't ever happen is people going, Levy's not backed him.
Yep.
Right? What can never happen is people saying, oh, but this is a Levy player. Because Postecoglou made a rod for his own back saying, I have final say on every player. So Solomon's come in. That's his guy. But Valise and Phillips, I'm not saying now because they're young. Valise and Phillips, they're his guys to build, to progress, to mentor. Right? At the end of the day, but when people say, look, disagree a little with Solomon, we got him on a free, we'll make 10 million from him. He won't be in our long term. But the manager signed him.
Signed him.
We can't pick and choose. People want to use him as, but Solomon's injured, and then on the other hand, he's Deadwood. Which one is it?
Yeah, you can't have. We as a fan base, we've got to be genuine in what we do, right? We can't have it both ways. The manager came out. The manager came out and said what he said. Well, this is the thing, right? Thank you very much. We've just hit it. Boom. Thank you very much, guys. But Savva, you got a good point. The manager came out and said it. We can't, as a fan base, have it both ways. Everyone goes, I trust what the manager says and I trust what he does. And then he says that, and then we go, I mean, it doesn't matter. He can't have it both. We can't pick and choose which we want to believe what he says and what he doesn't say. If he says that, I believe Manor Solomon was his choice. Bringing Lo Celso back in was his choice. Extending Fraser Forster was his choice, right? I think we've got to be really, really, we're being really cynical and unfairly cynical. I don't know.
Listen, I love this though. Like I don't know who this is, but big up to you. Welcome to the show. When you're saying like you work for Spurs and you know that the only reason Solomon was bought was to make a profit and to cover Ndombele's fees. Ben Salah has said the manager can agree to Solomon coming off for free, then leaving. Sure, but he agreed to him coming. That's the be-all and end-all. The manager, by the way, Ben Salah and everyone else, Perchie and I didn't make this up. Postecoglou said it himself. He said, I get final say on all players coming in. We can't then go, Maddison, Postecoglou wanted him. Solomon, we didn't want him. You can't make it up. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Exactly. We've got. This is unfortunately what we saw. This is unfortunately what we saw last season, and I hate going back to last season because I couldn't stand it. But any good signing was, that's a signing. Any bad signing was, it's a club signing. What we're doing that again. We're doing it again. Sean, if you're still here, we're doing it again.
Yeah, I'm sure Sean's on a dog walk somewhere. But listen, we are doing it again. It's like, I remember when we signed Jed Spence, there were so many people leading up to that signing going, have you seen him? This boy's brilliant. This boy ripped it up. He was amazing against Leicester and Arsenal in the FA Cup wins. He's brilliant. The moment he doesn't play, it's, Conte never wanted him. We shouldn't have signed him. It's like, hang on. Which one is it? I laugh. You laugh, but you don't think beyond as a whole. It was for It's not about what I think. It's not about what I think. The manager, I can't explain this any better, right? The manager has made a rod for his own back, right? It's the same thing as me coming out and saying, do you know what? Everyone who watches this show, I'll give £10 to in the next stream, right? You can make what you want of that, but I've said it. I've said it, right? You all get a tenner. Imagine I said that. You'd all go, no, but you said it. There you go. So,
I'm going to use this guy's analogy against him. So could we say we did exactly the same for James Maddison because we bought a relegated Leicester's best player at a cheap price to make a profit that we can then sell him in the summer because he's probably a 70 to 80 million pound player. You could argue it, you could flip it and do it both ways. We can do it with our better players. Did we do the same for Bentancur, where we only paid about 20 million pound for him, but he was probably a 50, 60 million pound player? We can do it for the players we don't like, but I can easily flip it and do it for the players that you do like. You've got to think about it.
Daniel, listen, good point. I said agree. Ange gets final say if you believe his words. But can it sometimes be a case of you get any of these three or no one? Who do you want? But Daniel, that's then down to Ange. If he's agreed to that to be our manager, again, that's on the manager. Surely the whole point of the manager, the new director of football, the new chief football officer, Johan Lang, who's the other scout they brought in?
Rob McKenzie, all his staff. Surely the whole point of the club implementing that is that we're not in a position where you go, these are the only ones you can have. Surely the whole point of this data-led new team was that you get the players that Ange wants in. Right? Yep. But equally, mate, all I'm saying is you can't, not you, the Royal, we can't have it both ways. It can't be that, like, we can't call Manor Solomon Deadwood after he signed in the summer. That's disingenuous to do that, in my opinion. You can't.
It's not really fair. Like, are we calling, is Ashley Phillips Deadwood?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
You know what I mean?
You can use it in any way, right?
Yeah.
Kulusevski Deadwood because we got him really, really cheap. Everyone loves him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got him for what, 20 million quid for a winger that everyone tells me is one of the best wingers in the league. Got him for 20 million quid. Are we doing that to make profit? So it goes both ways. I think what we have to realise, I think people need to realise, the likes of a Manor Solomon, right? The likes of Manor Solomon was a relatively okay squad player that you can get quite quickly. So you go, do you know what? Instead of us sitting there negotiating to get a squad player for £30 million, there's one that's available on a free that can add depth to our squad for nothing. Solomon's a signing that I go, do you know what? That's the sort of signing I want to see us do quickly. If you can get players like that on a free, that's fine. As long as they're not the first, they're the only one. Only one in the first team, right? Like if you went and said, we're signing Manor Solomon because he's going to be our first team left winger. Whoa. Not saying that. As a squad player, not against.
Who is this? I get the feeling this is one of our old detractors with a new name. Listen, dude, I'm going by the manager, what he has said. I'm not making it up. You're sitting here pretending you know the reason for signing every player. As fans, we cannot sit there and pick and choose with each player which one Postecoglou wanted or didn't. If Ange did not want Manor Solomon, he could have said no. Isn't that common sense? He could have said, I don't want him.
Yeah, of course.
Surely, with all the stuff going on with his club and the hassle that went on with that, surely Daniel Levy's not going, you've got to buy this bloke. Daniel Levy wouldn't have wanted the aggro that came
point,
from.
Actually, that is a great point.
It doesn't make sense. By the way, a free shirt is on offer and only 8 people have entered. There it is. Sean's shown you what to type in. If Sean wins, we'll buy him a new chair instead of a new shirt.
No, we love the chair. Look, we'll put it up here. Look, guys, there you go. 10 people have entered. Go and do it right now. 10. It's a freebie. It's a Christmas present from Football Heritage TV. For thanking you guys for getting us back to 12K. Thank you so much. So yeah, look, go and do it now. Make sure there's 170 of you watching and 12.
Do you remember when I won?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we won it?
Oh, darling, that was. To be honest, that was one of the best bits of. That needed a clip, by the way. That deserved a clip. It was so good.
Do you know the funny thing is? Imagine Sean won it. People would still go, it's a fix. Sean's won it. They're not really giving him a shirt. All of that. Hang on. Oh, look at that. Danny Kiriakou threatening to come on and join.
Basically, Danny's coming on in January. Then I'm taking that.
Yeah, Danny, did you mean for 10 minutes this December or in December 2024? Come on. I need to see your Greek little man bun. Bring it on screen.
Yes, we need him. Get him in.
Big up to 7_SC with a £10 super chat. Big up to you, my friend. Always in the chat. Always giving generous donations. Said, come on, guys. Hit that sub button. These guys work 365 days a year to bring us content. Love the content. And do you know what, 7SC? I don't think people understand just how hard it is to go live every single day, finding the time, pissing off our loved ones, right? Pissing off our loved ones. My wife right now is pottering around in the house. I can hear her listening to me chat absolute nonsense about a subject she doesn't care about, right? Thumbnails, getting guests, putting the show out, editing. It takes a lot. So thank you very much for your kind super chat. Keep subscribing, people. We have surpassed the 12K. But as Josh says, the road to 100K. I mean, if we get to 100K by this time next year, then I will give everyone in the chat a
if we got to 100K next year, I think we'll be doing. If we got to 100K next year, we'll organize something absolutely quality. Because if we did that in a year, that'd be crazy.
Here's what I'll say. I mean, bearing in mind that is 87 away. Sean wants the new chair. If we got to 100K in a year, could you imagine? I'll book a pub somewhere, book the whole thing out, free bar for the entire night. If we got to 100K subs.
Everyone on there is going to be creating about 100 new accounts now.
The biggest Spurs party of all time, with people coming up going, sorry, who are you? Oh, I'm this account. Oh, you're the that account, are you? Big up. Keep smashing it in there. Danny Kiriakou, did you send him the link, Perchy?
I didn't. I can do.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you did. I can if you're... Are you doing it?
I can do it now. I'll do it now.
Okay, cool. Good man. By the way, people, happy Christmas to absolutely everyone. Let us know in the chat as well. What are you doing over Christmas? Is anyone doing anything? I'm going to whisper this. Is anyone doing anything they don't want to do, but their other half is making them do? Who's doing that? Who's going somewhere they don't want to go to? Who's hosting, but they don't really want to host? Talk to us about Christmas, everybody. Perchy, another interesting point tomorrow for the Everton game. And by the way, sorry, Sean he'll take the new chair. Sean, you're synonymous now with that chair, I'm afraid, mate. You've got to keep that chair. Big up to Rodney, one of my favourites. Rodney, I believe you're from the Lewisham area like me. We get it. We just get it. Whatever it is, we get it, man. Big up to you and big up to Sean's chair, which very much always looks like it's celebrating Christmas, does Sean's chair. The followers stream, the followers' mum from last stream comes well. Do you remember that? The guy who said, I'm dating a girl, but her mum is now dating my dad. That was hilarious, wasn't it?
Those streams just got wild, by the way.
Hang on. Perchy, have you still got the stream copied on your thing?
Yeah.
The link, send it to Sean. Sean's just
messaged me. Sent it to Sean.
Sean and Danny, Sean said he's going to come on.
I sent it to Sean. I said to Sean, if you want to come on too, why not? It's Christmas, right?
A Christmas free for all. Whoever, any other Spurs YouTubers out there that want to jump on, Danny and Sean are about to join.
Right, come on.
Yeah, listen, we could do the fan calling shows. The problem we had, Black and Music, was what we started to get to the point was we opened up the calling shows. And a lot of the people that were calling in weren't actually Spurs fans. And when the Spurs fans did come on, they didn't really say a lot. So it's something that we'll have a look at. Perchy and I are always looking for new ideas to innovate. We'll have a look. And we'll see on the other side of the year. But listen, never write anything off.
What we'll do something like this next time. Instead, what we'll do is if we're doing a phone-in show, what we'll do, we will put out a community post. That we'll put out a community post of the game in the morning saying, look, we will be doing a live match reaction after the show. If you want to come on, comment down below and we will get you on. I think what was happening was we started it and no one came on immediately. People were only on for a couple of minutes. All we want is just it. We've got to remember, as YouTubers, we want the flow of the stream to go well, right? So if people want to do it, we're more than happy to do it. Again, we'll bring them back. We've got the whole phone-in stuff, all that lot. So, yeah, definitely. And also, guys, don't forget, listen, there is 150 of you in it. People have left, and we're giving away a thing. There it is, hashtag FHTVXmas. Let's do it. You must be subscribed to enter. So you should only be able to comment in the chat if you're a subscriber. So we will carry on going. Make sure you're subscribed to enter the stream. We don't care. We will give it away to whoever it is, whoever wins it. It's all a bit of fun, right? It is all a bit of fun. So get involved. It's a freebie from us. Happy Christmas from us lot. So get involved. You can only enter it once, but keep it going. Make sure you're all doing it in the chat. That's it. That's it, guys. Keep it up. So yeah, as we're saying, if you guys want the if you guys do want us to get to that sort of match reactions and stuff like that, we're happy to do it. As I always will keep saying though, is what we'll do, we will plan it a little bit better. Me and Savva, we've got a few things in the new year that we're talking about doing. We're bringing guys, you guys are interested, we're also bringing we're bringing along Discord. So what we want you guys to be doing is involved in our Discords where we can have chats with you guys a bit more intimately and having a little bit of a chinwag. Danny DK's in the background, but we haven't seen his man bum. When I see his man bunny, I'm not sure if he's ready to come on or not. We want man bum Danny. It only works when man bum Danny is here. He's sorting out his camera. When Danny sorts his camera out, we'll bring him on. So, guys, yeah, as I said, next year, you said we're going to be bringing the Discord. I'm designing it over Ben. If you look, I don't know if I'm going right. If you look at the top left, there's a link tree. Scan the link tree thing, and if you look above, it's flickering all the time. But use the link tree quickly before I get Danny on because it will cover it.
Yeah.
Just in the background. Just scan that with your phone. It will take you to all of our links, and it's at the bottom. It should say Discord coming soon. You can join it. There's nothing on it yet. I'm still signing it, but I will get it done and dusted for the new year.
Has he got it? Did you send him the link?
Sean's got the link. I sent it to him.
You sure?
Yeah. Sean's got the link.
Sean, if you go to your phone, there's a little app like that. It's his WhatsApp. If you open that up, you'll see it. Danny Kyriakou.
How are you doing, boys?
In the background, look how festive he is. I love it. The man.
Got to sit next to the Christmas tree, right?
Cool.
Where are you? Are we in London or are we in the Netherlands?
I'm in London. Yeah, I'm in London.
Boom, boom.
I'm in London. This Christmas is in London.
Akku, as we live and breathe. Danny, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you boys? Merry Christmas to you boys.
Hey, look at this guy.
Look at it. It's a Christmas party now.
It's like Spurs YouTube royalty joining us with Kiriakou and his bun, Sean on his chair.
Savva, before you say anything, right? What you said about your wife, you need to tell her, because if she doesn't know, she needs to fucking get to know, mate.
Yes.
If she doesn't know, she needs to get to know.
You know what? That's exactly what she does know.
Yeah, go on. I'll tell you what she does absolutely know is how to butter and spread peanut butter to the corners of a toast to get it to that perfect shade of brown. It's crunchy on the outside, still soft in the middle. It's an art form, a bit of toast. It's an art form.
Yeah. Sure. See, Sean, I feel like with you at the moment, I feel like the only way I can talk to you going, hello, Sean, this is Big Brother.
Yeah.
Like
I love the chair, Sean, by the way. I do like it a lot. It's good, man.
It's great. Yeah, listen, sometimes you got to go out there, put yourself out on a pedestal, and a few people will try and take shots at you, but ultimately they all come round to the chair eventually. No, everyone walks up to the chair.
The chair's quality. I love it.
The chair is good. Yeah, it's good. But yeah, Merry Christmas to all of you. Hope you guys are all
Merry
well.
Christmas to you guys.
Shut up, Danny.
Shut up, Danny.
Yeah, shut up. I'll see you tomorrow, Sean.
Someone's in the chat said send Henry the link. I believe Henry is working. Otherwise, I would send him the link. I believe that Henry.
No, he's not working anymore, I don't think.
He's just messaged me saying he's working. Is he lying? You lying, Henry? Oh. Which one of us are you lying to? Got him out.
Oh, brilliant.
Got him out.
Sorry, Henry.
Deary me. Oh, lads. It's just a Christmas spirited chat now. It doesn't really have to be about anything in particular. Sean.
No, I literally just popped on. I wanted to be there for when Danny said something stupid for the first time on the show, so I could bury him.
I knew he was gonna. Actually, I knew that's the only reason why I still wanted to come on. But the thing is, he always knows that I never say anything stupid. That's the problem. So that's like
Exhibit A, right there.
It works with Alex Davis, but not me.
Oh, absolutely love that. Oh, dearie me. And Danny, it's nice to see you. I don't think we've seen you since about August or something. So it's been
it's a long time. Right. I was on one of your shows recently. It was the first one I did.
Yeah, no, you came on one of our shows and completely ignored one of our shows that you had on as well.
Yeah, no, I fell asleep. Yeah, I fell asleep. Yeah.
Sean, can I ask you a question?
A lovely new nickname.
Sean the Chair Butler.
like he's a gangster that works for the Craze. Do you know what I mean? Like Sean the Chair Butler. Like.
Yeah. I think that was annual leave, wasn't it, Sean?
Well, I was gonna ask you. My mind's sort of now drifting across to why is he called the Chair? Is it because of his torture methods that does he strap someone up? No, it's because he goes on streams with something out of Elton John's living room. No, but what I was going to say was, you know what I love and also hate about Christmas is when you experience new snacks that you haven't stumbled across before, and you only bought them because it's Christmas, and then they are so good that you already foresee the next half a stone that's going to be wrapped around your waist by about February because of how much of this snack you're going to consume. Well, that happened to me yesterday 100%. When I discovered salt and vinegar flavored KP peanuts. I mean, I don't know if you like salt and vinegar crisps, then salt and vinegar flavored KP nuts are out of this world.
Might have to buy some today, Sean.
I feel like I'm gonna explode if I have any more peanuts. If I'm entirely honest, it's not good. A lot of protein, but a lot of love handles
as well. Yeah, a lot of
coming my way.
Yeah. The ones
I feel like that would make me really thirsty at all times.
Yeah,
like peanuts with salt and vinegar. I feel like I just constantly.
I'm on my 17th glass of orange squash, and it's only 12:24.
Orange squash.
The ones on me are the little chocolate stick ones, which they're like either like chocolate orange or mint. I forgot what they call.
Matchsticks.
We've
got some of them
at Christmas, and then you just buy them and just go through a box an hour.
Easy.
If that.
I just love that everything's allowed to be bigger. And what I mean is, like, you know, you don't have a little bag of mini cheddars for Christmas. You have a whole tub of the things, don't you? You just like you keep going, and you convince yourself that, oh, it's Christmas. Like, how often is that used as an excuse to eat and drink crap? Like, it's Christmas on the 12th of Christmas.
I did the same thing, but for me it was it's COVID. You know, after like Christmas, people go like, "Oh, you put on a couple of pounds." People go, "Cool, you had a good Christmas," or "I had a really good COVID," except it lasted for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So that's what long COVID is, Sean.
Exactly. 5 stone. It looks like this. 5 stone. That's long COVID. You know, Savva, you were saying about like everything's bigger in terms of like the volume of things, the volume of cheddars that you might get in the bag. I think Monster Munch went a different way. Pickled Onion Monster Munch have now come out with a bag that's this big, but they've also made the actual Monster Munch claws, like the hands, about the size of an actual hand. There's like one Monster Munch in there, and you got to like break it apart. They've gone weird with it.
They do it with
Monster Munches that are
you know, they do it with Watsits. So you get a Watsit that's like that size. You're like,
It's
do you want to see what happens?
If you eat it in bed, it's intimidating. Like, it's not. There shouldn't be the biggest thing in there that looks like that.
Yeah. Do you want to see what happens in COVID? If ever you want to see a photo of someone, it's a photo of me. And if you were ever going to apply COVID,
it looks like an Ethan.
No, it's my actual. I had to renew my passport.
You look Middle Eastern, mate. You look like you've gone to join ISIS. If I'm honest.
Do you know who I look like? Do you know who I look like? I look like Peter Sutcliffe.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah,
hang on, let me get a photo of Peter Sutcliffe. Now, for anyone who doesn't know who Peter Sutcliffe is,
looking Turkish, someone said in the chat.
If anyone who's looking Turkish, listen, that was during COVID, right? Here we go. Look, this is Peter Sutcliffe. For anyone who doesn't know who he is, Peter Sutcliffe is, of course, one of the UK's most infamous serial killers, or better known as the Yorkshire Ripper. And unfortunately, look at these.
Still hated more than his.
And I still probably get more hate mail than he does on a weekly basis, even though he killed about 15 women. The COVID for me, Sean, was this every day, right? I lived in at the time, I lived in a little terrace house. So the fences were about this high. Like, so you could see what your neighbours were doing. We didn't really know our neighbours. And either side, it was sort of like, it was really hot weather. Does everyone remember during COVID? It was really hot. So it was
best summer ever.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So we went into the garden. It'd be like, oh, hi, how are you? You start getting to talk. Then you start socialising. Then you're having drinks over the fence. And then my 2 neighbours were like, Sav, you know, you were talking about you wanted to renovate your garden. They came over every day in the summer, renovated the garden, built a bar, had the TV in there.
Nice.
We replaced 2 of the panels on the fence either side into gates so that they could just wander in when they wanted, go to the bar. And we were getting to the stage where we were drinking. Is
that a true story?
True story. I used to put.
You made the entire street like communal gardens.
It was. I'll see if I can find some pictures of it. Right, and
that's amazing.
And every night it was just alcohol. I wasn't even eating. Every night.
Mate, it wasn't night for me, mate. The same story, but for us, we live in like a private road here, and it's not really private, but it's got a sign saying it's private. We're masquerading as something we're not. But the next door neighbours would like go out and start drinking at like, one of them's just retired, the other one across the road works from home and seems to like never be working. Then you got me, who's also sort of similar. And it turned like we started about 5 o'clock when the kids were getting picked up or whatever. Then they'd start drinking straight away. The kids would go inside. They start having beers. I'd go outside. Then it became 3 o'clock. Then it became 2 o'clock. Then it became lunchtime. Then before I know it, people were having like Thatcher's ciders, which is how I discovered Thatcher's ciders after breakfast. People were outside having a Thatcher's at like 9:45 in the morning. And this is a whole new. It's COVID. Don't worry about it.
Acceptable.
Unbelievable. The standards were just raised or dropped. I'm not sure which way it went, but it was. I
can't find anything like so. For example, so we did the garden up. Like, I don't know if you can see there. So forget Stewie photo bombing, and then we had the bar. We had the bar put in at the back of the garden, And either side at the back there is a little gate to get into each. So both my neighbours literally used to just come in, even if I'm not there. They put on Sky Sports at the bar at the back. Pull up.
Even if you weren't there, you come home to work and they're out there sunbathing in your garden, lacquering up the Nivea.
Mate, it was.
And...
Do you know what? I said to somebody the other day, I wouldn't mind going into a bit of a lockdown. I wouldn't mind it. It was an excuse every night. Rather than having a glass of wine, it was like, should we have a couple of bottles of wine each? Like, do you know what I mean? It was just sort of like we'd get drinking and drinking and drinking.
So many people, amazing. So many people that I would speak to, like for my business, I have like conversations with people around the world, wherever it would be. And the general theme was that if you hadn't lost someone to COVID, if you hadn't lost your grandma or you didn't know someone that was close to you that had perished, you know, and tragically, then generally speaking, most people I spoke to were like, my guilty secret is that like I'm really, really enjoying COVID. Like it's just brilliant. I don't go to work anymore. I can sit in my underwear all day long, like, you know, just drinking or eating or just doing whatever. So everyone just if you hadn't sort of lost someone, then everyone kind of enjoyed it a little bit too much. You know?
Yep.
I don't think most people have got out of that mindset. I think 2 years later, people are still kind of in the COVID bubble, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's where half of when I did the weight loss recently, that's where still a lot of it was lingering from, was just COVID fat that I'd never got rid of. Because whilst I thought, oh, do you know what? I actually won't be drinking a lot during COVID. You realise, and I'm not somebody who drinks indoors. I don't really drink indoors. I like to go out and drink. I was getting to the stage where it would be, do you want anything from the shop? I'll just get some bread, and can I get a couple of bottles of rosé, or can I get a bottle of Malbec or something like? And that was every day, and every morning you'd hear, because all the houses with these tiny little terrace houses were so like close to each other, all down the road you just hear the clattering every morning of people opening their bins and putting in bags of bottles.
I used to go to the co-op, right? I used to go to the co-op to get like some baguettes, some French bread, whatever for breakfast. And there'd be people that would be standing next to the alcohol container waiting for at 9 o'clock, 8:59, waiting for them to unlock the alcohol thing, slide it up, stock up for the day. What are we doing? What are we doing?
It was brilliant. We had a little we've got I've moved house since, but a little Tesco, one of those Tesco petrol stations where it's got the Tesco inside like thing, all the food and drink, and you'd have to stand a metre away from each other in the queue, and the queue would be like an hour and a half long. We'd walk the dogs up. The dogs are sitting looking up at us like, this isn't a walk, we're standing still waiting. And then you get to the front, go in, come out, your bag would just be wine, and the wine fridges, you could see them stocking like constantly, just wine and beer, and good times. I enjoyed it, and I was on furlough at the time, so being paid to not do anything.
I don't think it didn't really matter if you were on furlough or not, because everyone was working from home, if not anyway. Like it used to just be acceptable to just drink at any time of the day. Like it just became normal.
Yeah,
like it was mad.
I was say, if you happen to be someone who didn't, like, if you didn't lose someone close to you, then it was, you know, kind of a good time.
Yeah, it was. Should we talk anything to do with football? Do you think that would be a should we go back to some football? Sean, you were very wrong about Aston Villa, weren't you? You were very wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm only joking. How's that?
Just got to throw it in there. Like,
what's he going to come back with?
How's that Chelsea thing coming on? How's that Decky thing coming on?
I still think Chelsea would. I said Chelsea will win a trophy before Spurs. I stand by it. They're 2 games away.
You also said Chelsea are going to be brilliant. This is the way to run a football club. This is how it's done. We had owners like Todd Bowley. You said Chelsea are back. Chelsea are big time. You said a lot of things about Chelsea.
Hang on. I still think, 1, Chelsea will win a trophy before us, and 2, I don't think this is going to be a long-term bad thing for them. I think that once all these players come back fit now, I think they're going to be all right. I do think they're going to be all right.
They're being forced to sell their captain so they can make room for yet another £100 million signing. Kick that £1 billion can down the road.
You know what?
This is how you do it. This is how you do it.
Spursy, though. How Spursy would it be, Sean, if in February Pochettino is lifting that League Cup?
Yeah, but
Like,
they
how
should.
how
They should. For
Spursy?
£1 billion, if the only thing they get from it is £800,000 prize money from lifting a little bit of silverware that happens to be the Carabao Cup. Congratulations, Todd. Great return
Hang
on
on.
investment,
That
my
is-
man.
That is such a way to spin success, isn't it?
It really
That
is,
is
isn't
such
it?
a bad way to spin success. Listen, that you've got to remember,
Think
Chelsea's
Tom Bowley gives a hoot about the Carabao Cup. That man needs
Yeah,
Champions League
No,
money.
no.
That guy needs the money, my man.
I don't think immediately. I don't think right now. I think winning the League Cup for Chelsea is a big thing because this isn't Chelsea of old. I think next year, if they're not competing for bigger things, yes. But listen, I'll ask you a question, Sean. Even if Chelsea finish 10th and Spurs finish 4th or 5th, but they win the League Cup, who's had the better year?
Tottenham.
How? How, if they win a trophy, have we had a better year?
Because expectations over reality. Chelsea need to be in the Champions League, mate. They've had over £1 billion net spend. They spent 1.4 billion or 1.3 billion in total in the last 18 months. They need to have something to show for it. And a Carabao Cup is meaningless in the grand scheme of things. So Chelsea won the Champions League 4 years ago. A Carabao Cup is not enough. They need to see progress week in, week out, and they're not showing it.
Start. But it's a start.
This is year 2 for Todd Bowley. Needs to be better than this, mate. Needs to be a lot better than this.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but how as a fan base that don't win anything can we look at anyone winning a trophy and go, it's meaningless?
Because it's expectation over reality. It's like if Manchester City only won the Carabao Cup this year and finished 4th, and Tottenham finished 5th. Who's had a better year?
But Man City are a team that should be winning league titles.
They're
there
already. Chelsea.
Not yet.
So should Chelsea.
Not yet. Their team
What do you mean not yet? They've always won trophies since Abramovich, and they've come in and spent more money in the last 18 months than Tottenham have in the last 10 years.
Hang on. Yes, but the difference is the money that they've spent on players, they've not gone out and bought ready-made players to win a league. They've bought a lot of young players.
They spent £100 million on Caicedo. They spent £100 million on Enzo. They're both like 20,
I mean,
£100 million on 2 players.
Of course it does. They're kids.
No,
they're still kids.
Why are they worth £110 million?
Because that's the football market. It's mental.
No, that's the market that Chelsea decided to adopt. That's the methodology. And with that comes expectations.
Another year,
expectations.
And I'm not saying Chelsea will win the cup, by the way. I think Liverpool should. If Liverpool go out for it, I think they should. But if Chelsea win a trophy and we don't, are we seriously going to try and spin that we've had a more successful
expectations
year?
At the start of the season were what? I think we all agreed. 8th, 9th, just good football, build something. If we finish in the Champions League places, and Chelsea's expectation, you ask any realistic Chelsea fan at the start of the season, they were saying we have to finish in the Champions League this season. We absolutely have to.
Sure. But surely winning a trophy
expectation versus reality. Tottenham had a far better season than Chelsea. If Chelsea finished 10th or 11th, and if the Carabao Cup, if Tottenham finish in the Champions League spots, relative to where you are, relative to expectations, it's not even a conversation, not even a debate in my mind.
I think it is. I think winning a trophy is winning a trophy. Last year, I'll ask you this. Last year, Danny, I'll come to you. Because if you say something silly, it just gives Sean a chance to bury you, right? Last year,
I'd rather go after you right now, so it's easier.
Listen, you can go after me. The difference is winning is winning. Winning is winning.
Right? Do you know what? I get both parts of the arguments, right? Winning is winning. Winning a trophy for everyone is a good thing, right? But if you look at how Man United are, for example, they won a trophy last season, and all of them are still complaining that they're not playing the way they should be, or they're not where they expect them to be, right? So in their mind, because of their go on.
This is my question. Last year, who had a better year? Was it Man United who finished fourth? Fourth.
Third.
Wherever they finished. Was it Man United who got Champions League but won the League Cup and got to an FA Cup final?
Yeah.
Or was it Arsenal who surpassed expectations and got second and were in a title race? Who had the better year last year?
Man United also surpassed expectations, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, year 1 of Ten Hag's project, 100%.
Yeah, I think they did.
Okay, what if Spurs finish 5th or 6th, Chelsea finish 7th or 8th, and win the League Cup?
Yeah, I think then you've got more of a conversation, more of a debate. But I still think the price tag, the sticker shock for spending £1 billion is There's expectations that come with it.
You could,
And
you know what?
I don't think immediately though. I think that's fans' expectations that immediately.
It's not.
You know what, Sam?
Immediately.
You could say
year two. It's not immediate anymore.
Bowley has come out himself and said that this isn't about now. This is about the next 3 or 4 years. Bowley himself has said this is about a long-term project.
He doesn't get to set the expectations. The fans do. And
no, he does. He's the owner. Of course, he gets to set it.
No, he can say what he wants, mate, because he's trying to defend the indefensible, which is spending over £1 billion net and getting absolutely sweet FA from it.
Hang on. I just think this.
If it wasn't about the now, then why has Chelsea gone through 4 managers since he's been here?
No, listen, I agree with you, right? I agree that there's got to be something now. But if Chelsea were to finish this season, I mean, from where they are, it's not inconceivable they can still get Europe through the league, right? It's not inconceivable. They go on a good run. If they were to get European places this year, plus win a League Cup, that's something to build on. That's something to build on.
It's a good season
because they're not as good as Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City.
It's the poorest year in terms of quality at the top. Well, I'm not sure it's the poorest year, but it's the wildest year to think how many teams at the top are dropping points in other places. There's never been a fair opportunity. That's the reason why Aston Villa are competing at the top, is in no small part because Manchester City can't figure it out right now. Arsenal
and because they're better than you thought.
As much as Arsenal fan, 100%. 100%. Hold my hands up. I didn't expect.
I've got to get a little digging, Sean. Got to get a little body punch in, you know. Got to get one in, you know what I mean?
I'm going to come back with more hammer blows though in a second. But for me, I feel like Chelsea, when you bake into the fact that even though Arsenal fans are sitting top of the table and are using that as the justification to say we're not even playing that well, we haven't even got into the next year yet, and look what we're doing. For me, last season Arsenal punched well above their weight. They went through the ceiling, and this year they've come back down to gravity. But other teams not doing their best, not doing what they can do, has afforded them the chance to be at the top of the table right now. And all of that being said, Tottenham dropping 1 point in 15 or whatever it was we got. We're still fifth, only 6 points behind. And yet Chelsea, despite everybody above them underperforming on some level, Chelsea still sit bottom half of the table. It's a disgrace. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I've long since lost patience with any excuses. You're getting paid that much money to figure it out. You've got most of the best young players in the world. You're supposed to be a coach who knows how to get the best out of young players. You're on your 4th manager as Tobo to sit there and say, "Oh, not about the here and now." Sorry, your actions don't match up to your words.
So can I ask then, on that front, guys? On that front, has Pochettino underachieved?
Yeah, definitely. I think personally, Pochettino is overrated. To be honest with you, I think his Spurs tenure as well was all that was good for us because we all enjoyed his tenure for most of it. But I never wanted Pochettino back because I just think he just wasn't good enough because he always kept failing at the last hurdle. And as you've seen in a bigger club when he's managed PSG, he looked out of his depth. And I think even with Chelsea, it just hasn't clicked for him yet. And maybe it's because, look, like you were talking about earlier, Sav, in the show, injuries do play a part in how teams perform, right? Because if you lose Chelsea have suffered with a lot of injuries this season. They had at one point, they had like 12 or 13 or 14 injuries at one hit. And when you've got like your best players like Reece James and Nkunku and these type of players all injured, and they haven't really, if you look at what they bought in, they haven't really bought like maybe players that fit what they're trying to achieve. I think they've just kind of, it looks like Chelsea have just like scatterbought and they just bought like just for the sake of buying. Oh, let's get a keeper. Let's get this. Let's get this.
I mean, listen, I'm not sitting defending them, by the way. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate for the sake of
of course,
of hosting the show. When you look at what Chelsea have bought, you can see that they are, whether it works or not is a completely different argument, but you can see they've bought a lot of young players in that £1 billion. And for me, I think they've done it a bit too quick. They've tried to kind of had a rebuild in three. Sean with the thumbs down. They've tried to have a rebuild in 3 windows. Your computer did that thing with is it a Mac?
It's on the same wavelength as me, mate. When you're talking.
But yeah, listen, Chelsea have suffered from massive injuries. That's why Look, I don't think Chelsea should get rid of Poch because I think that they'll just be going round and round and round in circles.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think they should either.
It would be interesting to see what Chelsea do when they do have. I'm not saying everyone fit because I think you're always going to have some injuries, but they have had a lot more injuries than most. So, what do you think is the minimum expectation, Danny? And then Perch,
I think what you were saying. I think if you're looking at Chelsea, you want them to be in Europe, right? I know they want Champions League football, but I think Champions League football for them this season is out of the question. I think it would take, like you were saying, a dramatic drop from the teams above, right? And Chelsea to have a complete upturn in form, right? For them to finish in the top 5, right, for Champions League. I think for them, if they win a League Cup and finish 6th or 7th, I think that's an improvement on what they've done, and it's something they can build on for next season. If they go and get a goal scorer, it's a bit like Arsenal. Who are they going
to finish? Who's going to fall down for them to finish 6th?
I think 6th. That's what I'm saying, Sean. I think 6th is a very good season for them, but I reckon they'll finish maybe
a good season from this point. But
from this point on, yeah,
not a good season, not a good finish at the start of the season.
But
right. Well, there you go. At the moment, Danny. Look, top 7 gets Europe in England, right? At the moment, they are 5 points below. Sorry, 6 maths escaped me.
Right. If Everton hadn't been docked their points, they would be 4 points behind Everton right now.
Yeah, sure. Listen, I agree. For me, this is why I think it's interesting. Is it the players? Is it Poch? Is it everything? But equally, 3 games, as somebody quoted earlier, is a long time in football. If Chelsea, and we'll look at their fixtures in a minute, Chelsea are 6 points off of Man United, right? Who have got the last European place.
It's not crazy to turn around right now in football.
Let's have a look at Chelsea's fixtures. So if
it
we
could
look at
finish.
Chelsea,
I think their best possible finish is 7th this season.
Well, I mean,
they got Wolves next time.
We say 7.
Yeah, I don't see them beating Wolves. Do you see them beating Wolves?
But when we say
they've got Wolves away. If you
I
can
don't
see
see
this,
them beating them.
They've got Wolves away, Palace at home, Luton away. Won't class Preston or Middlesbrough. Fulham at home. Liverpool away, Wolves at home. There's some winnable games in there for sure, right?
Yeah.
There's also a lot of points that could be dropped. I think Luton.
We have to be fair with it when we say, that the best. I think Danny said, the best they can finish is 7th. But let's be fair. They go and win 4 or 5 on the. I think it's a 3-game rule, right? I think I mentioned a minute ago. 3-game rule. You go and win 3 games, you're in the conversation. You lose 3 games, and it happens so quickly in football. How quickly anything can change. And look, I'm not saying they will, but it's not inconceivable. Chelsea go and win 4 or 5 on the bounce. It's not inconceivable. Less likely at the moment because they're not in a good form. But they go and win 4 or 5 on the bounce. They get a good result here and there. They seem to get good results against teams higher up in the league. Not sure why. I mean, they got a result against Liverpool opening game of the season. They got a result against us. So, look, can Chelsea get on the table? Yeah, because they've got good quality players. It just hasn't clicked for them at the moment.
Nkunku coming back as well is massive, right? I mean, that's a massive return for them, isn't it, Nkunku?
Well, he's a goal scorer, isn't he? They're lacking a goal scorer.
Is he for Chelsea?
Yeah, he's come on in the last 2 games for about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they reckon that, I mean, Poch said before the game the other night, he said he's probably got 20 minutes max in him at the moment.
What was his injury?
An
ACL.
I think
I don't know, to be honest.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
So I have to see what version of him comes back. Good player, really great, really, really impressive player, but we'll have to see. I think they need a goalkeeper.
Anyone think they can still make Champions League? Is that too far?
Oh, it was a knee injury. He had to undergo surgery for a knee injury.
I think they'd have to. Look, what was the gap between them and Man City points wise? It's 12 points, right?
Well, what are they? They're 11 behind us, so they're 12 behind.
And
City,
we're 1 behind Man City, so they're 12 points. They're 4 wins. So what we've got to say: are they going to get 4 more wins than the likes of Man City at the moment, who are there? It's a bit more the teams above. No, I don't think they're going to get 4 more wins than Man City. Do
you think the European spots will drop down to 5th? I know at the moment England are 4th in the coefficient points.
No, because other teams at the moment, other countries are doing a lot better than us.
Spain, Germany, and Italy are ahead of us, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. I think the only way
Isn't it to do, Percy, with what they do in the Champions League?
No, it's all three competitions.
No. Champions,
all three.
European. So
all three competitions, but the value of a Champions League.
In the Champions League, we must not be doing well for coalition points. Two of our teams finished bottom of the
so
table.
Basically, what someone worked
there's more points for a Champions League. Sorry,
but you're talking about this season.
The only way it works now, if England get the 5th spot, the extra free spot, Aston Villa have to win, and Arsenal or Man City have to win the Champions League, I believe.
No, that's not true. It depends on who gets knocked out in the last 16, the quarterfinals. There's a higher coefficiency points for if you're going well in the Champions League. So in an ideal world, you would see an Arsenal or a Man City in the final, and you'd see him play against a team that's not from Spain or Germany or Italy. But if Liverpool and West Ham go deep in the Europa League, and
so I forgot about Europa League.
A Portuguese team does really well, for example, then if it depends, it really depends on what happens to the German teams and the Spanish teams and the Italian teams. But there's not a huge gap between England and like Spain are just ahead of us, and Italy are just ahead of them. Germany, I think, are miles in front at the moment. But
there's only 2 spots, right? Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah. It's just so that the top 2 countries get an additional Champions League spot.
Yeah.
The only Spanish
team, Spain and Italy.
The only Spanish team
I want to go a little bit in the full circle. Isn't this everything that I was thinking about yesterday about football just becoming overcomplicated? Why has it got to be? It's just become mad. It's if this does this, this does that. Like, isn't that everything that's just silly about football?
Well, let's talk about that before we do. Welcome, Steve. Who looks like which Jack in the playing cards do you look like again, Steve? Which one is it that you look like? Is it both the Jacks and the playing cards? You look like is the one with the beard, which is
the Jack of Diamonds, I think.
The Jack of Diamonds.
Big up to Christmas Jack of Diamonds, Steve. Long time no see. Just before we move on, I'm sorry, just really quickly. Big up 7_SC, always a massive supporter of the channel, has gifted 5 Football Heritage TV Christmas memberships. And as far as I can see, those memberships have gone to an Arsenal fan in Mr. Post Office. Mark CFC, who is clearly a Chelsea fan, gone to Alpha Kenny Buddy. To Cantab, to Jay Kismet, You'll Never Walk Alone, a Liverpool fan. And I think I might be missing one. So it looks like one more that I'm missing, but looks like 7_SC has just gifted lots of presents to all of those teams around us. So big up to you, massive support of the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Keep smashing the like button. We were only going for an hour and a half. We're now nearly 3 hours in. Sod it. It's Christmas. No one's working. Yeah. Why not? Guys,
like a COVID drinking session.
Like a COVID, right. Everyone go to their cupboard and get some alcohol.
I'll be going out to get some alcohol soon, Sam.
We talked about this yesterday in a more serious setting of a show, but like what Percy was saying there, football has become so convoluted, so difficult, different. The number of rules in football now compared to what it was, the technology compared to what it was. Champions League, they convoluted that by having this horrible thing they're having next year. Super League, that is never going to get off the ground. I want to ask you guys, I know Percy's feelings on it. Sean, Danny, Steve, this Super League thing that's come out last night is a nonsense, right? 64 teams. Everyone's turning them down. Everyone is turning them down. It's
turning down this version of it, right? Turning down, but like the doors open for future changes, which I think is important. I personally don't like this idea that just because you always like it was the same in golf, it's the same. It was the same in a few different sports that Saudi Arabia have tried to come in and disrupt. And I know that Saudi Arabia is not necessarily part of this particular story, but I don't necessarily think that a governing body should have the right to veto competition. I don't like monopolies in anything in life. I think it destroys competition. So whilst I'm okay with, and I agree with every team walking away from this particular version, I've got absolutely all the time in the world for the idea that UEFA and FIFA, etc., shouldn't have a stranglehold over footballing merit. I think that if someone comes along in the future with a better vision, a better version that is ingenious on some level, then it's important that idea should be able to be floated and to be adopted if it's good enough. But
So
what
you're
they've got
saying
now-
the actual idea of moving away from UEFA and FIFA isn't bad, but the execution of what is it A22 of what?
I'm just exactly. But basically, I just don't like the fact.
Right.
I support the European Court's ruling that FIFA and UEFA shouldn't have a stranglehold over competition. I completely agree with that. But I'm also very happy that since the ruling, all of the teams have come out and said, for now, we're okay with what we're doing and we don't want anything to do with.
The thing is, right? The thing is, it's for me, it's all a load of rubbish, right? These teams saying, "Oh, we're not going to be involved in it for now." Like they're just saying, "Oh no, we're done with it." Because as soon as those clubs get if a new like Sean said, right? If a new kind of reformed version of this Super League comes out and it benefits every single club in terms of financially, every single one of them will say yes, 100%. Because that's the problem. That's how disgusting football is nowadays. It's all about money.
Also,
the reason why
that's just the world.
Hold on, Sean.
World.
The reason why Florentino Perez is twerking for this competition is because it secures them financially by having this type of competition due to mostly the TV revenue. That's where their revenue is going to come from, right? They're going to earn hundreds and hundreds more millions than what they're already earning now. Why would the clubs not want that? And that's why he keeps twerking for it, because him and Barcelona and Real Madrid are in not in exactly the best financial situations, but
Barcelona, most Barcelona are completely destroyed, right? But they made a rod for their own backs. Other leagues have made a rod for their own backs. They say that the Premier League has ruined European football and that it needs to be leveled out again. But the only reason the other countries have struggled the way they have is because they pushed all of their money into the 2 or 3 clubs that the distribution of the financial pyramid from money in Spain and in Italy has been a complete disaster.
Marketing.
The Premier League and the Scottish Premier League and everything do it in a much fairer way, and over time it's yielded better results. So I'm not in favor of anything changing right now, but
I think it will happen.
Well, at some point in the future, someone will come up with a better idea, right? That will suit everybody. Like the one thing just quickly, not to get off topic, because it is actually it's sort of directly or indirectly related. I was really astounded last month when the new Premier League broadcasting rights were agreed with Sky TV, and they kept the 3 p.m. blackout on Saturdays, like all of that stuff. It's a madness to me. If money is the root of all evil, but it's also the driving factor of economics in finance, in economics in football, then for me, the kind of the golden goose that hasn't been laid yet was for the Premier League. They own the content. They should have created their own sports, like Netflix for football or Netflix.
What MLS is doing with Apple TV.
Yeah. Right, but they could do it. They could 5x the amount of money that every single club gets. Every single team could be shown on every single Saturday. Let's be entirely honest, right? Anyone who has access to a VPN now can watch every single game. And you know what else would happen? This idea that they don't want to dilute Saturday football. They want to make sure that all the stadiums are full up. Well, if they were to go and unleash Saturday TV 3 p.m. kickoffs, the Premier League clubs would make so much more money that they could then justify reducing the ticket prices to ensure that it gets back to the people that used to want to go that can't go and watch live sport anymore, right? So
I think it'd be the opposite. I think they won't just reduce. I think they'll increase the ticket prices rather than reduce them, because the way it's going, the way you've seen it over the last 20 years, it just keeps going up. It's not going down. And
I'm saying the argument against 3 p.m. TV, 3 p.m. Saturday being televised is that people won't go to watch the Premier League matches, and they want to make sure the stadium revenues are still there. I'm saying allow people to watch Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs. Let's be honest, we all do anyway. Even if you're not going to the game and Tottenham are playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, you're going to go and get a stream via a VPN, right? So it happens anyway. And yet if people can watch it on TV, then the clubs would make more money out of the additional broadcasting revenues that the clubs would generate. And then if they did find that there was a drop off in attendances at the games, they would just lower the prices again.
They could do,
And then give access to families and kids, and do the things
that's what
anyway.
people with morals would think, right? People would think that's what we would assume they would do to allow families to go and watch the games who can't usually go and watch games because it's usually too expensive. You'd like to see that. I personally think in the future we're going to see the Premier League have their own Netflix type platform, and you pay a subscription per month, for a platform, and you'll be able to watch all the Premier League games or all the
That's
all
what
the English.
what I was expecting to happen last month. But
Well,
it didn't
was
happen.
supposed.
It didn't happen. Sky, TNT, and all that stuff.
Well, did you hear? Did you hear what DAZN was planning to do in the UK? They wanted to buy the rights to the Premier League and have everything how they had in Canada a couple years ago before the other company took over in that side of the world, North America. They wanted to have it in Europe, in England, so that they would be like the Netflix of the Premier League. But it didn't work out like that, so they lost their deal on that. It was like
they haven't got enough money yet.
£6-7 billion deal.
Have been an investment banker like a Goldman Sachs should have come in, financed a new.
That's what.
Style. It would have been super.
I think that will happen,
they could
Sean.
4 or 5x the money, and like I say, the drip down benefits. You're right, Danny. Like you might find that the prices of tickets go up anyway, but like I say, the argument against it is that people won't need to go to the games anymore, and so you just let demand and supply figure itself out. If people don't want to go to the games, you drop the prices until they do.
Do you think it could have an adverse effect if they were to do that? Like in terms of it would stop customers. Let's just call it customers for what it is. If they stop customers going into the grounds, and then you see less people in the stadiums because they can't afford to go anymore, or do you think it would be the other way around and you'd get more tourists going to the games instead?
I just think demand and supply drives the prices right now. I know when Tottenham put their prices up last year, and half the fan base, or 80% of the fan base went wildly angry about it. I still maintain the same thing. Demand and supply always drives the prices for anything, right? If people are willing to pay the tickets, then people will go. Unfortunately, there's some people in life can afford to fly first class, others can't. It is what it is. Same with Tottenham. Same with any ticket pricing mechanism for anything in life. If showing games at 3 p.m. via a Netflix for sports type model meant that most people didn't want to go to games anymore, they could lower the prices, and eventually it would get to a price point where 70,000 people would still go, or 62,000 people would still go and watch Tottenham, and 55 would still go to Newcastle. So you'd lower the price, you'd make up the difference in the additional money from broadcasting. You'd still be able to go and sell your beers and your sausages and all that stuff at the stadium. It's a no-brainer for me. The only kind of other consideration is one of the reasons why they don't play 3 p.m. kickoffs in the Premier League is because it encourages people to go out to Championship games or League One games, League Two games. And that, I don't think, would change anyway. People would go and watch them if they want to. Because like I say, people still access 3 p.m. games, whether it's legalized on telly or not. People will still watch it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the world sport, man. It's the world sport. There's people looking to watch football all the time, everywhere. So you're gonna get people to watch. And there's only a certain amount of people that fit into one stadium. Also, that's the other thing that's crazy for me. It's like, I don't know.
But if I could, the Perchy, you need to jump, don't you? Because you're flying to the UK shortly. Is Perchy still there?
Yeah,
he's still there.
Such dodgy Spanish.
Can you hear me now?
Look, I don't know.
Yeah, we hear you.
Got the Barcelona downgrade.
Are you sure when you're doing watch-alongs that he's actually on a delay, or is it just his Wi-Fi that's not catching up with real time?
It was my computer is running really slow. It feels like it's on fire at the moment.
You got the Barcelona finance savings package computer. That's what you got. Down the cost cutting.
Can you hear me? You hear me fine? Yeah. No. Yeah. I have got to run shortly. I mean, my flight's not till about 5:30, but which is about 3.5 hours. But
always get early to the airport. Always.
Well, I was gonna say, did you want to do? I wanted to be here when we did the draw, though.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to? Are you saying you want to do the draw?
Should we do the draw?
Yeah, you do the draw now, and then once you bugger off, I can still talk to these guys. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look at Danny. Danny with his. Oh, Danny is.
So I'll give everyone. I'll give everyone a 5-minute head start to go. If you haven't put in hashtag FHTV Xmas, just like that in. We'll give everyone 5 minutes. If you haven't done it, whack it in there now. And then these guys can carry on. So make sure you've done that. There's 190 people watching, and we've got 45 entries. This is a free shirt. We're not asking for anything. All you've got to do is type in hashtag FHTV Xmas. We'll do the draw in 5 minutes. I'll let you guys carry on.
Can I pivot? Can I pivot the conversation just for because I did a I did one of my dog walks today, right? And on it, I had to ask a question because people keep saying to me, "There's no way Conor Gallagher would come to Tottenham, even if it was okay with Chelsea, even if it was okay with Tottenham, he wouldn't want to leave Chelsea and come to a rival." And so I want to posit this question to you guys, right? If you were a professional football player and you supported Tottenham and you grew up and you came through Tottenham's youth system and you rose up and you became part of the first team and you became captain. And through no fault of your own, your love and desire for Tottenham remained the same. But the club turned around and said, "I'm sorry, Savva. I'm sorry, Perchy. I'm sorry, Steve. But we need to go in a different direction and we need to kind of sell you, right? Because of the FFP thing, and it makes the most sense. We really appreciate what you've done. We love you to pieces. Come back to us one day." But in terms of Tottenham, listen, we're going to listen to offers. If the best offer that came along was Arsenal, would you get over it, or would you say, "No, I'd rather go and play for Leeds"? Or
if I'm a Spurs fan and now I'm a professional footballer and Arsenal, one of the best teams in the country, come in for me and offering me 150 grand a week to go and play there, and I live in the area, yeah.
Okay, cool. So these people that are saying
there's a huge difference between fans, as in us with normal jobs, and I'm a pro footballer, and my agent comes to me and goes, "Look, you live half an hour away from the training ground. Right? You know the area. You don't have to get a new house. You're gonna go and play for Arsenal."
Unless you're someone like Marco Reus, Thomas Muller, who are already at those kind of high level clubs, Dortmund battling for Bundesliga titles and Champions League and Pokal. Sometimes they get it, a lot of the time they don't. And then Bayern, obviously, with Muller, it's like, what's the motivation for him to go outside of that kind of situation? Or someone like
I'll keep it back to reality. Conor Gallagher gets told by Chelsea, "Look, we love you, bro, but it's time to go." And Tottenham are the team that's coming in with the most money for you. Even though his family can't stand Tottenham, his family are Chelsea through and through. If you're Conor Gallagher, do you get over it to come and play for Tottenham? Or do you say, "No, thanks, I'd rather go to a lesser club with less opportunities," even if it's like a Crystal Palace or a Fulham? Would you rather go there and play kind of second fiddle in terms of your career, or would you tolerate going to Tottenham even though they're a rival? To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. But a lot of people say, "He would never come to Tottenham. He's Chelsea through and through. He would never come to Tottenham."
It's the fans' mentality versus professional footballer mentality. Let's be honest. Jermaine Defoe, one of our greatest ever goal scorers, is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Like Declan Rice is a West Ham fan. He's a Chelsea fan who then went and played for West Ham and is now at Arsenal. They don't care. If it was a Ledley King who captained the club for a decade, 400 odd appearances, but then look at Sol Campbell.
Sol Campbell, exactly. Yeah.
Sol Campbell. Listen, I'm sorry. If Conor Gallagher is told, "You know what, we like you, Conor, but listen, we are willing to listen to offers," why is Conor Gallagher not going to want to join a club like Tottenham Hotspur? It's mad for me. But it's mad.
If any of you watch or listen to Ben Foster's podcast, I bring this up a lot, and he said on there, no professional football player cares. As soon as you start playing football professionally, you lose all allegiance.
It's a job.
Ben Foster, growing up, I was a massive Tottenham fan. He said, "Arsenal came knocking on the door for me tomorrow, I'm signing for Arsenal." He said it's totally different. He said fans don't want to believe it, but football players will move on to bigger and better clubs. You use Ledley King as an example. Let's be fair with it. If Ledley King had his knee was a lot better and he was fitter in that sense, he would have gone to one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
He was that good. And people need to forget this notion that they care about. It doesn't work like that anymore. It never,
bro. Even as Perchy, I was just gonna cite Johan Cruyff, bro. Johan Cruyff, one of the greatest footballers in history, went from Ajax, won everything there, and then when he had a falling out with the management in the 70s, early 70s, he went to Feyenoord just to stick it to them. And he was growing up. I believe he was an Ajax fan. So.
It's a great point, Sean. It really is a great point, because at the end of the day, I think, again, or you can already see it in the chat, people go, no, don't be silly. They don't all think like that. Conor Gallagher is going to look and go, right, Sean, let me throw the question back to you, right? If Conor Gallagher's agent goes to him and says, look, Chelsea are willing to listen to offers to you, right? Tottenham are on the list.
Yeah.
The only way I see that he's going to go, not going there, is if he's got better options.
Exactly. That's why I said,
what
like,
better football club is coming in than Tottenham?
You know where he might. You know where he might.
Maybe Liverpool. I don't know if Liverpool might look at him and go.
Maybe Atletico Madrid. Could be that.
Yeah.
But then again, the technical aspect, I don't know.
Yeah, but this is the point, Steve. If a better club than Tottenham come in for Conor Gallagher, we're just using him as the example, then I get it. But right now, if West Ham, no offense, West Ham are a decent team.
Well, how about use Crystal Palace, right? Say Crystal Palace sell Eze. Say Eze buy say Man City buy Eze in January, for example, right? And then Conor Gallagher gets the nod from Chelsea and says, listen, you got to go, mate. We need the money on the FFP. We got to fund other purchases. You are biggest homegrown talent, whatever. Okay, you want me to go? Fine. Who are my options? Crystal Palace or Tottenham? He's already played for Crystal Palace. He walks back into their team. Right. Do you go to Crystal Palace, where you're going to be a mid-table team for the next 5 years?
He's going to Tottenham.
You go to Tottenham, where you got a chance of winning.
Yeah. I think the thing is, as I always say, fans can't remove their loyalties to the club versus professionals, right? It's like you see it all the time in the world of corporates. So-and-so's started up this company, built it to £1 billion empire. Oh, hang on, Apple or Amazon have wanted them. Yeah, all right, I'm coming. Yeah. Right? This is their job. And by the way, just quickly, I don't want to do a whole name-dropping thing, but Greco, this isn't true. I know Jermaine Defoe. This isn't true. He was not a West Ham fan. He was not.
Yeah, no, you're right. I want to pick something up on the comments as well. This needs to stop, Spurs King, because...
Hang on, I was...
Sorry, you carry on.
I was in the middle of a sentence. Greco, he wasn't a West Ham fan. If you're going to get your facts right, you need to get your facts right. He was actually, he's not a West Ham fan at all. He played for West Ham because Charlton let him go. Right, sorry, he wanted to leave Charlton to go and play for West Ham. He's an Arsenal fan. Jermaine Defoe is an Arsenal fan who then became one of Spurs' all-time top goal scorers. So this isn't true. But the whole point is, it doesn't matter whether or not, how many of these footballers do you think support the club they play for?
Exactly, yeah. 99% don't get to live that dream.
Only the other case of where someone said no to a better team, Shearer. Shearer just wanted to play for Newcastle. He had his heart set on it because Barcelona wanted him in the mid-90s, and obviously Man United too.
Yeah, but he wanted to go home to Newcastle. Gallagher's already at his boyhood club.
Exactly.
Right. So it's you have to leave your boyhood club. Where do you go? Do you go to a good team that happens to be your rival, or do you go to a lesser team that happens to be neutral? Does your rivalry, does your family's distaste for listen, if I was a professional footballer and Arsenal came calling, I'm not going to sit there and say, nah, my dad would never forgive me. show me that money and I'll wear the red top, you know.
Bro, Luis Figo went from Barca to Real Madrid. You don't think he took pelters? Like, bro, they threw a pig's head at him. So like they'll do it if it's the right move or if they want to. They don't care. Like
no, definitely. I think this is it. I think people need to realize that. I think, as I said, like, the comment I wanted to pull up was saying that Gary Neville would never play for Liverpool. But Gary Neville wasn't playing for the best team in the country at the time, and he was playing for Bradford City, and Liverpool came knocking for him. Of course, he would have gone to Liverpool. This is it. Like when people use the Man United and argue, why would he go? He doesn't need to go to Liverpool because that's a downgrade at the time.
Yeah,
the best team in the country. Good Man United fan, of course. But if Man United were a second division side and Liverpool came knocking for him, of course he was going to go to Liverpool. You have to be really, really. You have to use a bit of context with it. But I think that's how it is. I think you've got. Savva, the one thing we talk about, the food chain, right? The food chain in football is always the biggest driving force over anything.
Of course.
Go that way. If their team was down here, but the team they supported, they would stay here. That's why you don't see many top players that play for sort of League Two teams that support those teams staying at those clubs if they are on the level of a Premier League team, right? Like, for example, you wouldn't see, I use Wrexham because that's the only one that came to my mind. If you were a diehard Wrexham fan, but you were on the same quality of Wayne Rooney, you're not sitting at Wrexham for very long because you're going to go to the Premier League because you're that good. Food chain, the football pyramid.
Who was the Southampton player early 90s that he stayed at? What? Oh my God,
Letitia.
That's maybe the one exception to the rule where he was always battling relegation and he had offers.
You could.
That's the exception to the rule, though. That's the exception to the rule.
But the thing is, right? Greco, I don't need to search it. I've had nights out with Jermaine Defoe. Some of my mates are best friends with him. I don't need an article. This is real life. Jermaine Defoe is an Arsenal fan. I can assure you he is an Arsenal fan that would have jumped at the chance to play for Arsenal. Just saying. Don't believe everything you read in articles. Listen, the food chain is massive, like you were saying, Perchy. It's like in the summer. How many Spurs fans? Harry Kane. Why would he go Bayern Munich? Why would Harry Kane go Bayern Munich? His love for Spurs. Winning a trophy for Spurs is more important than winning titles in Germany. No, it's not. It's the food chain. Bayern Munich are 10 times bigger than Spurs, whether we like it or not. Yeah, whether people want to call it a farmers league, Bayern Munich are one of the biggest 4 or 5 teams in world football. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's it. If Conor Gallagher's offered the chance to go and play for Spurs, he's not going to go, oh, but I support Chelsea. I don't know. I just don't believe it.
You know what it is with the Gallagher situation? It actually is reminiscent of Tonali because they wanted to sell him, right? The man, so Maldini left in the summer, and then they were like, we need funds to reinvigorate the team, the squad. We need money. So they sold Tonali, a boyhood diehard AC Milan fan. He decided he got really pissed that they wanted to let him go after they let Maldini go. And so he was like, all right, cool, I'm out. And he went to Newcastle. So it's similar.
Yeah, no, listen, I think people think
that's AC Milan, man.
And has been miserable ever since, right? Does he like it? Does he like it in Newcastle? He doesn't, does he?
I have no idea. I don't know the guy.
Tonali. I don't know. I also feel like it was a little bit of like, I think that Milan knew something was coming on the horizon with regards his betting problems. And
I mean, if it was. Again, we don't have any proof of it.
Yeah. Hey, who needs proof? I like to speculate wildly. I love to speculate, just talk out of my backside, just wildly speculate, and then see what goes on.
Danny's internet is atrocious.
Danny's internet is
should we give away a football shirt, Sav?
Yeah.
Should we give a football shirt away because it's Christmas?
Yeah, I'm mute. Oh.
He's eating. Let him eat. This man loves food.
64 entries. I got 1.5% chance of winning this.
How many entries have you put in?
Oh, what, with all my different burner accounts? I probably 45 of those 65 entries. So
64 of them. Everyone quickly, 30 quick 5 seconds, and we'll hit the draw button. There's 65. There's 179 of you in the chat, but only 67 of you want to win a shirt. It's a giveaway. We're doing it. Happy Christmas. We'll do the countdown. I'll give you a quick 30 seconds quickly, and then we'll try and get a few more in quickly. And then when it hits the 30-minute, 20 seconds, quickly get them in, and then we'll draw in. Yeah, it's spot on. Go on then. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on, Butler. 2. Lucky Butler. Let's go. Oh, no!
No! There we go. You've got 30 seconds now to quickly comment in the chat. If you don't, we go again.
Go again.
Is he in the
Reason,
chat? Is Revenant in the chat? Where are
reason.
you?
15 seconds.
He's got 15 seconds. I'm counting it down. Where is he? Otherwise, we go again.
5. No, wait, that's not.
It's 5,
4,
4,
3.
2. I've got to draw again.
Reason.
Seconds. We go again.
We go again.
Hang on.
We go again.
Give him a few seconds because he's always in the chat. He's very loyal. Give him a few seconds.
Let's see.
I don't want to. Reverend, I'm going to give you an extra 15 seconds, please. Just let us know you're
That's
there.
right. He is always in the chat as well.
Reverend, where are you?
10, 9,
9,
7,
8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He's
Yeah, we gotta
done.
go again.
Goal again.
We gotta go again. That's good.
If Sean wins this,
Shameless, isn't he? Oh, dun 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 dun. Foggy foam. Foggy foam.
foam. Let us
He's
know.
there. He's there. He's watching.
He's here.
Wow, that was quick.
Now he's been putting it. He's putting about 100 times. He's put his name in there.
Foggy foam. Message.
Where is he?
on
5,
Instagram or-
4, 3, 2. Ah, he's there. He's there.
He did. He commented literally immediately.
Damn.
There he is.
Let us know. Message us on Instagram, but in the chat now, please let us know. First of all, you are a Spurs fan, which is good.
Yeah.
Second of all, please let us know where you live. It's about this time we normally find out someone lives in Canada or New Zealand.
I think Foggy Foam's won something from me before. I think he's won a shirt from me. I think he might. This might be his second. I might be Foggy Foam. Let me know. I feel like maybe you've won something from me as well.
No.
And if so, if it's the guy I'm thinking of, then he lives in Essex, I think. So it's not the end of the world.
Just quickly, going back. I mean, that was a great talking point from Sean there. Lovely talking point, Sean. I've seen something about this. I can't remember exactly what it is. Daniel said, have we discussed the Michael Owen comments yet? Wasn't this something to do with Michael Owen saying that it's easy to be a footballer now or something? Am I right? Was that what he said?
I'll look it up.
Just quickly, Daniel Harris, if that is in fact your profile picture, mate, you're an incredibly well-groomed man. Look at the hairline. That is a phenomenal hairline. Dimples you could fall in love with, you know. I know I'm sat in this particular chair, but I don't usually go that way. But you know what, mate? Good-looking guy. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Elton John on us. Guys, before you answer, I've got to run. I've got a flight to catch. So thank you very much, guys. Everyone in the chat, have an amazing Christmas, and we'll catch you at some point.
Are you going to the game tomorrow, mate? Did you say?
I am going to the game tomorrow.
All right.
Aren't you on with me at 10 a.m. tomorrow?
I am. I'll do it on the way to the stadium. Or to the pub, more like.
I'll see you at the stadium, mate.
Yeah, listen. Much love, guys. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and these lot will carry on going for however long they want. Much love. I'll catch you a lot later, and I'll be in the UK.
Safe journey, bro. I'm also going to drop off Sav and Steve. I've got Friday work stuff to do before the weekend, so I'm going to let you go.
Yeah,
no worries, man.
See
Steve,
you later, guys.
I'm here. Thanks, mate. Steve, we'll stick around for another few minutes.
Sure.
Okay, so big up Foggy Foam, who's put in a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. We really, really do appreciate you, Foggy Foam. And let us know where you live and message us on Instagram. I don't think you'll get the shirt this side of Christmas, just so you know, but we will get it to you. Don't worry about that. We are good for our words. Steve.
Yo.
So hang on, Danny's trying to come back in again with his awful internet. So guys, Owen has basically said something like, you know, footballers now, you just have to be strong and be able to run. It's caused, Michael Owen says a lot of things that causes controversy. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to start off by saying I don't actually think he's that wrong. I watch a lot of footballers play now and I think, you are bang average, like to quote Mr. Box Office. A lot of bang average footballers that work hard and fans go, oh, they've got a good engine. All right, cool. But technically, I don't think there's a lot of top players out there.
No.
What do we make of Michael Owen's comments?
I mean, like, he's kind of right, but you have it again. I always say this when it comes to football in the past, in the 90s, 2000s, 80s, whatever, because you guys have seen that. I haven't. I can only look at highlights, and maybe they have a Champions League final on YouTube that I can rewatch. But it's different when you live it. It's different when you watch all of this. But like I can only speak from, I've only been watching since 2014. I've just always been of the opinion it's like there's always talent out there. That's why you pay scouts to go and find them, right? Everywhere in the every country in the world, maybe bar one or two, play football, and that's kind of that that's what you're supposed to do as a scout. Go and find them. But like it does seem like that. Maybe the individual brilliance isn't as good as it once was, but you can still find those guys every once in a while. So, but like,
yeah, but in general, Steve, like you can scout, but in general, I mean, I think the fact that even when I look at players like Ollie Skip coming through, let's be fair, what like that sounds really horrible.
Average player.
Ollie Skip. I look at Emerson Royale. You know, players that are already at Tottenham, and you go, like, how are you how are you a pro footballer, but how are you plying your trade in the Premier League?
Yeah.
So, has he got a point, Danny? Has he got a point? Oh,
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been saying this for years that the level of footballers nowadays is nowhere near the level it was back in the day. Like it's just not the same. You don't have like players who've got this unbelievable technical ability that make the game look easy anymore. Like you used to have talent like that in abundance everywhere you looked. Like every team had one like top quality player or someone who you would want them playing for your team around. And nowadays it's like the level has dropped, so the average has become the new normal now. So it's like that's the level of players that we see. Like you said, your Emerson Royale's like he's a Premier League footballer, and to be honest with you, he's not in my standards. He shouldn't be anywhere near the Premier League. That's my opinion. People might disagree, but it's like you see, like I think what you can see is the way that football's evolved in terms of not for the better, but in terms of like how we have social media nowadays. Like I was watching I don't know if you saw it that Sky Sports documentary thing they do, or that show they do with Ian Wright and Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, and they have an ex-pro always. They do like an hour show with them or something like that. And they had Jaap Stam on there recently, and it was really interesting listening to what he was saying about his career and stuff like that. And one of the things he was saying is like how he doesn't know how he would have handled everything if there was social media around in his day, because when he was around, there wasn't really social media around. And like when everything was going on, he goes, it's hard for how players have to deal with things nowadays. Like if they have a bad performance, they get absolutely brutalized sometimes on social media. And it's like players now have to deal with that level of mental health and that level of scrutiny that they didn't have before. And like, I think it was easier for players then to kind of just play their game and just focus on what they needed to do and what their manager was saying, rather than the outside noise, which is what you get a lot more of nowadays. And not just that, on top of that, I think players nowadays are a lot more pampered than they were back then. They have like, look at Tottenham, right? They have like a 5-star hotel basically on campus. They have like these unbelievable meals. Players they get treated like they are treated like top class celebrities basically. So when you're treated like that and you get paid ridiculous money that they do, right? Their appreciation of what they have and how they got there, I think, also drops a level as well.
Yeah, I make you right. I think one of the key things as well, Danny. Did he freeze or just stop talking?
He froze.
Oh, he froze. I think one of the key things that goes along with this is it's that age-old thing, isn't it? Of I've seen people in the chat going, "Oh, but the players today would compared to the players then, their athleticism, etc." But if those players were playing now, they'd have the athleticism as well. They'd have the diet of these players now. But I just feel like the raw skill and ability. Listen, there are players with raw skill and ability, but in abundance, it seems to be missing. Lots of players who are functional, but not many players where you go, wow. Not like, no, I don't look through loads of teams and go, wow, look how skillful these players are. They're all very much A to B. They can do the A to B, but have they got the C, the D, the E? Have they got the skills?
Diverse
Yeah.
skill set.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it, and I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one for me. The level of footballers compared to when I was growing up is gone, absolutely gone.
You can say that about a lot of sports. You can say that about a lot of sports. Some people don't think NFL is the same. That's kind of a rule change thing, though, because it's the way you hit. It's the safety stuff that kind of takes away from the game. Basketball, you could say that probably. Baseball, so it's a sport thing, and maybe it's just a life thing. I don't know, bro, but like for me, like the reason why Emerson Royal is at Spurs is that's poor recruitment because you can find better right backs than that. That is that. So, but I agree. Like, how is he playing for a Spurs? How is he? You know, at Betis he was all right, but like he wasn't a standout at Betis. But I don't know.
Yeah, no. Look, mate, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Just quickly as well, there's been Lyle Thomas has just come out with this. Just so you know, I'm not lying. Lyle Thomas has just come out and said exclusive. Inter Milan are considering a move for Celtic's Matt O'Reilly, among a string of clubs regularly scouting him, including Aston Villa and West Ham. We talked about him earlier in the show, actually. So it's quite interesting. It comes out now. Have you seen him, Steve? And if not, what do you think of him?
I like him. He's very robust. Good technical ability. Gets around the park. He's a spark plug. He's one of those. Like things happen when he's on the pitch. Like I said, he's good at moving the ball around. He's a physical force. Like you notice him in games. He doesn't have many games from what I've seen at Celtic where he goes missing or anything. For Inter Milan, that they would have a stacked midfield. I don't know if he'd necessarily be a starter there, but I think he could be a very good impact player there for sure. Because it's like that's a guy that's young, up and coming for Denmark. I like him. That would make sense for Inter Milan, and that's good to see. A lot of Scotsmen are going out to Serie A lately. That's a door that's been opened.
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at Tierney, who's gone out to Real Sociedad. You know, you had Hickey, who was it Bologna?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lewis Ferguson still at Bologna.
I think it's really good. I like it when British players go and try something else. You look at Jude Bellingham, like at a young age, going to Borussia Dortmund. I like that. I think there's too much around. Can the players from the Premier League? Can the players from other leagues handle the Premier League? What about our players going out and handling other leagues, adapting, learning a new skill set, a new culture,
language?
So really, really interesting. But I just listen. That's a player that I would love to think Tottenham can.
You think he'd be a starter for Spurs or behind Bentancur and what's his name?
I'm of the opinion that you have so many games that you rotate the players. I think what Spurs fans, we've been complaining for ages. I look at the injuries we got. Okay, cool. Well, this is where a squad comes into it. No. I think the days of just having an 11 are dead.
Yeah, completely.
Just having an 11 are dead. Completely. But hey, it is what it is. Steve, listen. Anything else you want to add before we drop? I've been going for 3.5 hours now. Anything else you want to add in the world of football?
Nothing really crazy. I mean, like Liverpool and Arsenal, that's a big game at the weekend. Nothing really crazy. I like the UCL round of 16 draw. I mean, Lazio is just gonna get hammered by Bayern, but whatever. It's cool to be there. Lazio need all the money that you can get because we're a self-sustaining cheapskate club. But it is what it is. Yeah, nothing. I mean, Girona and Real Madrid, that's turned out to be a fantastic title race. That no one saw coming.
Yeah, it's looking interesting. I mean, if we look in Spain, if we look at the table, 1 second, standings, Spanish league, where are you? There you are, La Liga. I mean, they're starting both of them now to pull away from Barcelona as well. The gap is now 7 points. So Real Madrid and Girona both on 45 points. Real Madrid are top via the virtue of a much better goal difference because they've only conceded 11. Head to head, sorry. And Barcelona are 7 points back, and then Atletico are 3 points behind Barca, but with a game in hand. So that's looking like a really, really interesting matchup. And Girona are a very good team when you watch them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. They've lost one game in 31.
Yeah.
That's
remarkable.
That's amazing, right? That's amazing. So yeah, so if anyone hasn't watched Girona, go and watch them next time they're live. They're a good team. Steve, listen, thanks so much for coming on, spending some time with us, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on, bro.
Always, man. Listen, everyone in the chat, big up. Thank you for spending however much of the time you have with us. It started off as a normal show, and we just kind of went into a bit of a Christmas feeling. Big up to Foggy Foam for winning the shirt. Thank you for everyone for helping us get over the 12K. I'm going to put the link in the chat if anyone would like to subscribe before they leave. Oh, not that. That is definitely not what I wanted. That was for setting up a stream. If I posted that, people would have been worried. Yeah, please, here is the link. Please smash the subscribe button. Please like on your way out. We're 11 likes away from 200. Let's get there. Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.